All right, I think we're live. Anyways, hello everyone. Today we're doing something we haven't done in quite a while, a live stream. And in this live stream, I'm going to be watching and reacting to my older content and seeing how things have changed when it comes to my channel from then to now. So, anyways, let's see how things are going. Currently, we have 0 views. The page you see on this live stream should be my channel page and all of the recent content, but the older content that I've done is buried down below. I'll have to go all the way down, and you'll get to it. Oh, there's some stuff I could react to, but let's see. Oh, we have 1 viewer. I'm not sure who that viewer is, but thank you for viewing. Also, feel free to suggest any of the older stuff that I should react to, and or if you don't, I'll just pick out a random video. With that being said, let's begin. We should find a video. Which one? Which one? McHenry Loser, that was a good one. There we go. If there are any audio or video related issues or not. I hope there aren't any. Anyways, we'll get rid of watched it, so it doesn't matter. So let's see. It should be loading right now. Oh, 1 person's in the chat, in viewing, so hello. Older videos that I made. Not the first, but one of the older videos. So let's begin.
Guys, this is Igor MGTOW and Video Games, and once again, another simp has decided to attack MGTOW and try to destroy it. So let's make a response video and let's begin the roast.
Actually, roasting is something that I would not do right now because I feel like it has overstayed its welcome. I think roasting, while it had its uses back then in the time period of 2019 to 2020, is no longer useful or contributing to the growth and success of MGTOW. But anyways, that was then, and things are different now.
Okay, MGTOW is an online...
Also, let me know if the audio is working. I hope it is. No, come on, bruh. Oh yeah, there's Hammerhand stream, but he's doing his own stream and I'm doing my own. Anyways, time to go back.
Hello guys.
Already been there.
Let's begin the roast.
Okay, MGTOW is an online movement.
On the first try, you're wrong. We're not a movement, we're philosophy.
Yeah, was right then, still right now. It's a philosophy, a lifestyle philosophy, not a centralized movement, ideology, or anything else. The fact that people still call it a movement is a testament to how much people have been misinformed about MGTOW and how the philosophy works. So I was right there.
I didn't know that you're full of shit because we've said it so many times we're not a movement, and on the first try, you said we were a movement.
People are always going to be misinformed. The best thing we can do is correct them, and if that doesn't work, move on. I mean, what are we supposed to do? People will still keep lying about MGTOW ad infinitum, and there's only so much we can do to respond. So wasting time trying to correct everyone by roasting them instead of making our own videos is not the way to go. We should correct them, but with our own videos.
I'm ignorant and I decided to listen to women only because they told me and I never bothered to check the facts.
or Wikipedia, or the mainstream media, or anyone else trying to malign MGTOW, which, by the way, includes pickup artists, dating coaches, tradcons, as well as some feminists, most feminists to begin with. I've yet to see a feminist that didn't do something, but that's the realm of the Nawal to Walt argument, which is quite useless because it changes nothing and is meaningless.
And continue.
Where men are rejecting women, they're rejecting marriage.
Why should we have to accept women? Why is it not our right to reject them? I mean, I was right then, but I'm still right now.
We're rejecting marriage because marriage is fucking over men, basically causing child support and alimony, which will ruin men. Who wouldn't want to reject that? Also,
by the way, people in the chat, if you're watching this, let me know if the audio and video is working fine and if you see it, because I want to make sure this actually works.
So rejecting women, that's a bit of stretch of the truth. Personally, I do reject women, but some other MGTOWs don't. Some other MGTOWs are.
That's the point again about MGTOW being a philosophy. MGTOW being a philosophy means it is up to the individual MGTOW to reject a woman. Some do, some don't. It is up to the individual. There is no centralization here, no central authority, politburo, political party telling you what to do or what not to do. So I was right then.
Have some small flings, but I personally reject women because I don't want to be any. Don't want to.
2 people in the chat, nice.
Relationship.
2 people
Well,
watching.
Anyways, let's continue.
Marriage. They're rejecting relationships.
Because relationships are shitty and useless.
I mean, to better elaborate what I was talking about back then, you have to understand that right now, when it comes to no-fault divorce and the way divorce in family courts works, all of this is a one-sided game. So why would anyone accept a one-sided game? And why should we be criticized for rejecting it? I mean, I was right then. I was based then, and I'm still based right now.
And usually because of, past experiences where they've been dumped or cheated on.
You forgot the rest. You mean divorce rate, basically fucked over, forced to pay child support. Basically, some of them were even driven to the suicide by women. But we MGTOWs will win. You are just trying to cherry pick some points in order to claim, oh, he's not a real man.
I was right then. I was right to describe this. And everything that I said here right now about this guy can be applied to all simps, dating roaches, and trad cucks that push marriage and long-term relationships. Because just as I was right then, we're still right about them right now.
Stupid. Wow, that's a stupid shaming tactic, you incessant little Timmy.
Something like that.
I could have used less insults because we should win by ideas and not by insults, but he deserved it.
And the thing about these MGTOW guys is they all think that they're alphas.
Hold on.
Head into MGTOW community, we're alphas. You're so fucking dumb. Nobody in the MGTOW said they're alphas. We MGTOWs have our own category, which is exactly that, MGTOW. We don't claim alpha or beta. That's just their own stupid category for non-MGTOWs.
Ooh, holy based! I was right then, and that's something I want to elaborate on in a future video, because the thing is, this whole horseshit about, oh, alpha male or oh, beta male, this entire dichotomy needs to be burned down to the ground and destroyed. Why? Because it's divisive, because it's not accurate, and because it's used to essentially establish who is more preferable to women. Why should we in MGTOW cater to women or pander to them and accept a system of categorizing men based on how much they appeal to women? The only thing that alpha and beta should have described is whether you were a free man, which is a MGTOW, or a simp. and beyond that it has no uses. But since it was poisoned by others in the manosphere who are not MGTOW, in particular Andrew Tate, this entire system no longer works. To describe the difference between a free man and a simp, which is a sucker idolizing mediocre pussy. But even if you idolize top tier pussy, you're still a sucker and thus a simp. So the fact of the matter is that such a system needs to be burned down and no longer recognized. And the good thing about me having an opinion back then is that I was correct then and I'm correct now.
You know, think that men who aren't MGTOW, oh, they just haven't figured it out, you know.
Yes, because non-MGTOWs are still blue, but we never say they're beta or alpha or anything because that these terms are made up by women to categorize men, and we should avoid categorization systems made by women. Also, notice how your comments are
Okay, to elaborate on the previous point, I was right then when I said that they didn't figure it out. Why didn't they figure it out? Because the difference between a blue pill man and a red pill man is, do you know how women act in terms of marriage relationships and cohabitation, and do you know why it's a bad idea, or do you not know, and are you still deluded into thinking that simping is the way to go? So for those that are deluded and do not know the answer, obviously they haven't figured it out.
anti-Semitic. Basically, you and your viewer base is racist, anti-Semitic, and keeps attacking Jews for no reason. All because, oh, the myth of Jews promote MGTOW. If they really did that, we wouldn't have apocalypse, and we would be growing, not being attacked.
I was right again, and to elaborate, the good thing, based thing about what I said here is simply the fact that racism and anti-Semitism is bad and is not the solution. And it's also funny that people think, oh, Igor betrayed this or that group. No, I didn't. I was never for racism or anti-Semitism, and people expecting me to be racist or anti-Semitic can all go to hell and get bent. That's their problem. They shouldn't expect us MGTOWs to follow in their footsteps and complain about Jews this or Jews that. It's their problem, not ours.
It seems as though you got your facts wrong and that you're simply a racist and a stupid anti-MGTOW douchebag.
Wow, could have cooled it with the insults, but I was still right.
And really, nothing could be further from the truth. These guys are beta male.
Nobody said we're a thing. We said we were MGTOW.
Yes, and that's correct. Reject the alpha-beta false dichotomy pushed on you and claim your own path. That is what MGTOW is about. We're our own thing. We're doing our own thing. So I was based then.
Oh yes, and MGTOW, divorce, rape, and everything is true. You aren't true, because all you're spreading is falsehood and shaming tactics.
Beta.
To elaborate on the other point I mentioned about shaming tactics, the reason they have to resort on that is because they have no argument and they have to get you to go to an unequal plantation, so they'll just try to shame you and try to use that as an argument. But it doesn't work because it doesn't erase the meaningful difference that and the fact on the ground that the plantation is unequal and that you will lose far more because you're being told to sign a contract with someone who is incentivized to break it and who is rewarded for doing so. So I was right then.
As it gets. And I hate to use this word, alpha and beta, but that's really the only way I can describe them. They're beta male.
Find a better term then.
We didn't say we're anything. We have our own category. It's called MGTOW. You're so stupid enough to use female categorization system. Now there's three types of people who are pro-women, pro-simp, basically like that. Basically, you're either unaware, you're unaware to MGTOW, and yet you're blue pill, or you're aware, or you're stupid, or you do not accept because you let women control what you do.
Again, right, but it's mostly two. Because the people who are unaware and the people who know something but do not like it because it goes against their agendas are basically one and the same. So either you recognize the situation and understand why being MGTOW is a good idea, or you simply don't and want to be with them despite not understanding, or understanding and rejecting why being with them is a bad idea. So there.
How pathetic you are.
Why would you need an online support group?
It's not a support.
Okay. I want to interject here because, while I do explain that it's not a support group, let's entertain the idea that it is a support group. Why is having a support group for men bad? Why is it that women, non-binary people, agender, xenogender, or whatever should have a support group and we should not? Why is that a problem? So I should have used that line of argument on incessant simp, even though I was writing that it's not exactly a support group, because MGTOW is a lifestyle philosophy and you carve your own path. Simple as that.
Group, you dumbass. It's a group where we spread MGTOW and red pill. And we didn't claim we're alpha, so that argument wouldn't even work in the first place, you dumb fucking small brainlet.
Oof, very harsh, but I need to elaborate on something because the idea of calling MGTOW a group, which I did back then, is also a misnomer, because MGTOW is a lifestyle philosophy and is basically meant for you to do your own thing. However, there is also a misnomer that there's this one big MGTOW community, and I'm going to reference something that Brandon Trueblood told to me, and I believe is accurate. There is no one singular centralized MGTOW community. There are dozens of content creators with their own communities who have their own values and morals, ethics, values, and principles. So there's no one centralized group, no one centralized political party, nothing that tells you what to do and what not to do, save for the 4 basic requirements of not being male, not being married, not being in a long-term relationship, and not cohabitating. Very simple.
It's not a support group, it's a group to spread MGTOW and to basically...
Like in the manifesto, to spread MGTOW, you're basically on your own. You inform others of MGTOW, but there's no one single group or anything that's centralized and that's basically telling you what to do and what not to do, or aiding you in that process. You're on your own.
Make plans and actions and talk about our projects and dreams and what we plan to do.
Help you get over your feelings.
It's not about you little shithead.
Because to explain what I was trying to say back then, it honestly wasn't. And in my opinion right now, it's not about feelings. It's about not wanting to be screwed over. Simple. Very simple.
Help you get over your relationship.
We're not getting over we're not basically talking about our feelings, you stupid idiot. A lot of MGTOW say they are glad they left relationships. And I would suggest that I'm glad I never came into a relationship in the first place. You're just a stupid pussy worshipping idiot.
I mean, was I wrong? Not only him, not only Incessant 2, or as I called him back then, Incessant Simp, but even many tradcons, even many simps and PUAs, and I would also add incels to that category, behave in this way. They behave as if puniti is the only thing that matters in this world, and that there is nothing else that's good or important, and that not chasing it is somehow evil or bad or gay. That's honestly what they view it as. So I don't think I was wrong for calling him out then, because I would have done the same thing now as I would with all Simpson, as all of us MGTOWs would be doing. As all of us MGTOWs would be doing as content creators when dealing with anti-MGTOWs. Calling them out is a good thing.
You're not just pro-pussy worshipping, you're exactly that, pussy worshipping.
Yeah, that's
not
what
wrong.
Alpha males do.
We never claimed we were alpha males, you stupid.
Not wrong, and also, as I was saying before, we should honestly completely reject, gut, and also burn down the entire alpha male, beta male false dichotomy, as it's divisive and is not really what we MGTOWs are all about. We're about going our own way and doing our own thing. It's not about, oh, you should do this to be alpha, or oh, you shouldn't. It's honestly PUA bullshit, and if anything, the PUAs and the insults have made the manosphere worse. Without them, we would be in a far better place. So that's my opinion. We should reject anything that they build, because they don't build anything. They tear down things.
Stupid. The head.
Male is gonna get over it. He's gonna go find another woman.
Yeah, that's also stupid behavior, trying to find another woman and trying to get with another woman and repeating the same mistake that fucked you over the last time. Sorry, but we MGTOWs are not doing that. And you seem to be too dumb to understand that little incessant Timmy.
Oh yeah, back when I thought that was the way to insult. But let's elaborate on this point for the sake of our argument. There is a phrase. A smart man learns from his own mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others, or something akin to that nature. I don't know the exact quote. If you know the exact quote, you can put it in the comments, but both of them are not going to be going out with another woman after they have been burned at the hands of their first woman, because why would anyone do that? Unless you're a simp, but then again, we were criticizing simps. So there. So I was right to call it out.
And he's gonna try again.
You don't need a relationship, you cuckhead.
And you know, these MGTOW guys, they've thrown in the towel on life, basically.
Listen.
No, we just went our own way, and I've also explained pretty much that back then.
Up to crackhead. We never thrown a towel into life. It's just that your life consists of being in relationships, trying again, being stupid enough to...
Oh yeah, that was one of my insults. So there. That was one of my insults back then, but right now we know better. We know that roasting is not really the way to go. The whole point is to win by ideas, win by merit, not by insulting others. Because winning by ideas means actually winning, explaining why our beliefs are right and theirs are wrong. So right now, the way we would explain this, the way I would explain this at least, is to explain the difference of a lifestyle philosophy and a movement, and why not repeating a mistake is not the same thing as throwing in the towel. Because there's a difference between quitting life and simply recognizing what is a smart thing to do and what is a smart thing to avoid doing. Later, but not now, because now we're reacting to now we're just reacting to older content. And also, if this particular video is boring you to death, feel free to suggest another one of my older content. In fact, I'll probably move on soon after. But yeah, the modern way to go about dealing with anti-MGTOWs and simps is to explain why they're wrong. You don't need to roast them, you just need to explain why they're wrong. while there were 2 viewers here for quite some time now, so I don't know. By the way, let me know if you hear the audio from the video and see the video, as well as hearing this audio that I'm speaking right now. If everything works, then that's great. Well, there are other MGTOW streaming at the same time, so must be unfortunate timing, but anyways, we'll continue. Let me know if you hear the video themselves, what you probably do.
We have our own life, and you probably don't like that because we don't need women.
Yeah, I was right then. We still don't need them. We don't need them. And the whole dichotomy, false dichotomy of alpha males, beta males, and oh, you have to chase them is completely wrong and should be completely shredded. I'm not mincing words. It needs to be shredded because it's a poison. And I was right then. I was even based then, but I think I should be more based now.
And the sad thing is some of them are like 20, 30 years old.
You forgot about 13 and 12, you stupid idiot.
I wouldn't. Well, the difference here is that I wouldn't call him stupid now. The average MGTOW is in the age range of 30 to 50. So just because there are some who are 20, and just because I was 13 at the time, does not mean someone is automatically stupid just because they didn't know about me. I, of course, didn't have as many subs as back then as I do have right now, and not knowing things is not automatically being stupid. You can learn things if you're willing to. I'm not sure if this simp was willing to, because he tends to not be willing to learn anything. I mean, what can you expect from simps and pickup artists? But yeah, not knowing something does not automatically make you stupid. So my playing devil's advocate on his part regarding what I said back then.
And plus, it'd be better if all these MGTOWs, adults discovered MGTOW earlier, because they wouldn't have to face the consequences of divorce rape.
I mean, am I wrong? Would I be wrong to say that in 2019? No. Would I be wrong to say that in 2026? Also no, because if you discovered MGTOW before your first relationship and managed to avoid everything, then you don't lose anything. You don't have to pay alimony. You don't have to pay child support. Very simple. Well, that's kind of the whole point of this channel, to be honest. Let's be real. Truth nuke after truth nuke.
They're not even the age where they should be like just settle for being single the rest.
We're not settling. We're enjoying being single.
To explain this point, why would you call it settling? Okay, let's say you're being granted the opportunity to have $1 billion. Would you call it settling for having $1 billion, or would you call it absolutely winning in life because you have $1 billion? Having $1 billion when you're starting out from not having $1 billion is not settling, and neither is being single, because being single is the best way to live life, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about relationships and you don't have to deal with all of the crap that those who do have relationships have to deal with. So it's not settling. And if you're in a relationship, being single is actually an upgrade. So I forgot to mention that, or maybe I didn't, but that's my point of view today.
Oh yes, you just want us to be fucked over a couple times in divorce rape in order to then be single. No, we're not doing that. Continue being single. Don't ever get in a relationship. Don't marry. Stay basically single, but you can continue pumping and dumping if that's what you really want.
Actually, I was also right then. If you can be single without having to risk everything, without have gone through the meat grinder or the system, then by all means do that. You don't even have to be celibate to be adhering to the MGTOW lifestyle philosophy. So if you can be MGTOW without having to pay alimony and child support, then you should obviously do so. So I was right then, as I'm right today, right now in 2026.
But I don't think that's a good idea.
Life. Now,
it still isn't a good idea. By that I mean the pumping and dumping, which is a term for basically having a casual you-know-what with women. Or any other gender, for that matter, because it's basically the same.
A lot of these MGTOW guys I noticed lean right politically.
You're probably wrong, because we don't lean anywhere. Sure, some MGTOWs vote the right because the feminists are on the left, but in actuality, I hate both sides, because naturally I'm a MGTOW and I want to spread MGTOWism.
Okay, I'm going to switch to Dragon's question. I like being single. Maybe some other men will want to, but I like being single, to be honest. So maybe that's my personal bias. But yeah, to elaborate on my point, back then, there was a time where those on the right wing, or those who were tradcons, were basically more on our side than against our side, so makes sense. Hello everyone, welcome to the chat. So basically, I was right back then to describe that some men in MGTOW were right-wing because the feminists were in the left wing. So basically, that was an accurate description at the time. But right now, things are different because the tradcons have actually screwed us over. So I was right to hate both sides back then, but what I should have done, and what I should recognize, but it's maybe the fact when it comes to hindsight, is that neither side is on our side, and the tradcons were just as much of a problem as, say, the old-style SJW feminists. I agree. They 100% worship women and attack you for not worshipping women. So any reasonable MGTOW would be opposed to them. Oh, and also, to get around to this, everyone who has fought against Penny Proud at the time, or Miss Elite as she's now known, has a wrench, because we had to stop her, and that means basically everyone who was watching my streams getting a wrench. So by all means, if you have a wrench, that's why. We were basically defending this entire channel from trolls and those attacking it. Well, to be honest, some don't even follow their own rules and do it without monogamy. But even so, I wouldn't recommend monogamy. I mean, like MGTOW Outlaw, who had a question: should men get married even with current divorce rates? The answer to that is no. Pure and simple no. And that's what I would tell him, and that's what I would say to everyone. Obviously, he also knows the answer is no, as was correctly pointed out to me by Rusty Rivers. But yeah, so everyone who has any understanding of how marriage and monogamy works understands that the best way to play the game is to simply not play. The only winning move is not to play. So let's continue.
Both groups shame men. Both groups want marriage, and both groups want because they're single.
I mean, I was not wrong for calling it like it is back then, because they still do that, and tradcons are especially guilty of doing that because they invent all sorts of reasons to advocate for marriage despite not willing to actually fix the system. So they want to advocate for marriage and all the other BS surrounding it and attack you. Oh, you're not a real man if you don't get married. That kind of bullshit. I mean, there was always going to be incels. What can you expect? Not everyone can get laid. And in my opinion, not everyone should get laid. I don't believe getting laid is the solution to incel problems, but I have a whole host of videos on that topic. Why participate in a game where the rules are rigged against you? Good point. If someone is incentivized to break a contract, why would you sign a contract with them? Marriage is like a business deal in terms of civil marriage, which is basically the marriage we talk about. But the way it works is that in divorce court with no-fault divorce, the way it works, no-fault divorce itself is not the problem, but the wealth redistribution with alimony that comes with it, that is the problem. So if you have a risk of losing your resources, why would you play that game? And so, but I understood that in 2019 and obviously still understand it now, as any good MGTOW would.
Toward the right wing, they support Trump, but
some of them do, but I actually don't, because Trump is married, and I don't want married people running a country.
Their ideology, the MGTOW.
Well, to be fair, I want to play a bit of a devil's advocate. Whether you're married or not does not actually determine competence. There are competent married people and incompetent single people, and you would generally want competent people to run your country. So you would probably want someone married but who knows what they're doing versus someone single who will run the country into the ground with debt and failed policies. So we should prioritize competence over someone's status, because not doing so would be like affirmative action, or DEI as some people call it. So yeah, that's a bit of a devil's advocate on that point. So there. When it comes to running a country, you shouldn't prioritize anything else other than the competence of those actually running it. And actually, on my point with Trump, I actually didn't know I said that. I thought I somewhat supported Trump and the Republicans, and there was a time I did, but actually I don't support him at all, and I'm not sure if there are many others who do because of his policies. And you've probably seen what's happening with Minnesota and ICE, and I'm not sure if I fully understand the situation, but I do not trust ICE, and I wouldn't trust them a lot because of the fact that they mistake citizens for illegal immigrants. Obviously, you want the illegal immigrants gone, but if you keep mistaking the illegal immigrants for citizens, that's not really a good thing. And also, that also leads me to discuss the difference between the arguments surrounding immigration then and now. Then the argument was simply about whether immigration was good or points-based or skill-based, but now you see people calling for remigration, and I won't mince words. Remigration is basically ethnic cleansing. If you're calling for deporting people who are citizens and who've been here for generations and who have papers and who did everything legally because of their ethnicity, then that's simply not the way to go. I also would not be surprised. There's a reason they're hiding the Epstein files, and the one thing that I want to mention about the Republicans is that they have also played a part in hiding the Epstein files. You've seen them delay the release. They should have released things, and half of the files are basically just one big black box after another big black box. And the reason they put these entire black boxes is so you don't see what actually happened. So yeah, they don't want to be honest. They don't want to reveal who was in the Epstein files. And honestly, that's the reason why you don't trust them. Like Brandon Trueblood said, never trust a politician.
Ideology as leftist as it gets.
It isn't, because the MGTOW is basically not even on the political campus, you idiot meth head.
Actually, the use of digoxin, or as people would call it, methamphetamine, has nothing to do with whether someone is smart or not. Though addicts don't tend to be smart people in general. But MGTOW is not on the political spectrum because it's its own thing. It's a lifestyle philosophy, so calling it left-wing or calling it right-wing, as many people say, is a misnomer. And also false.
It's not even on the political compass.
I mean, these guys
Was right then, and I'm still right now, at least in this particular topic.
Feminists.
No, we aren't. Feminists lie and water down everything and push their own narrative while we make.
Okay, to answer Dragans's point. Yeah, that depends on the individual, MGTOW, but whether you have the views you have is up to you. You have the right to have your own morals, ethics, values, and principles, and that's why you have to bring your own. MGTOW doesn't give you a set of morals, ethics, values, and principles, and doesn't tell you who to vote for. It's up to you. I have made a video recently describing that topic in my video of 5 reasons why MGTOW is still strong and great in 2026, which, by the way, you should check out after this stream, of course.
MGTOW's just actual statistics, actual facts, and we are correct and you are not.
I mean, against simps and pickup artists who wouldn't be correct. They're not known for being correct because simping clouds your mind, clouds your judgment. So there, I was right then. But in let's say for the sake of argument, that MGTOW is the male version of feminist. For the sake of argument, and I know it's quite a stretch, let's entertain that it's theoretically true. Why shouldn't men have something to represent them if women have something to represent their rights and interests and their values? If they have their own thing, why shouldn't we also have our own thing? If we won't fight for our rights, we won't fight for our values and interests, and we won't stand up for them, who else will? So, let's say that technically it's true. Why would it be a problem? Of course, I don't think it's true because MGTOW is a lifestyle philosophy, not a centralized movement. But for the sake of argument, if it was, why would it be a problem? That's what these people need to understand, and that's what they don't get. But I will continue. Anyways, we're correct and you're not. Well, that's simply par for the course when you're dealing with simps and pickup artists. Again, right, but I was more so describing, for the sake of argument, if it was feminism for men, why would it be a problem? Basically, it was a hypothetical argument based on entertaining and basically suspending reality and explaining if something was true, which is not, why would it be a problem? So there.
Are hand in hand, parallel in their ideology.
No, we aren't.
With the feminists. Feminism is about empowering women and rejecting men.
Yes, that's true because women always want. Oh yes, and women always push alimony and child support to basically make men's lives even worse.
Again, I need to cut here because my opinion here and my opinion then is not really the same. Not all of them push alimony and child support, and some even want marriage to be done away with, but like I'm saying, the Awalt argument of all women are like that or not all women are like that is basically an irrelevant and useless conversation because it changes nothing when it comes to how divorce courts work. So whether they're all like that or they're not all like that basically doesn't mean anything. So that's something that needs to be its own video topic. Like, why are we still discussing this if it's not relevant?
Empower men and rejecting women.
Why would you even need a woman? Basically, a woman will not do anything about economics, cannot do hard manual labor and probably isn't the best choice as an employee. Why would you want that?
Actually, this is where I slightly differ. Sure, some of them can do something, but the reason I say it like that is because you don't need a woman to live a prosperous life as a man. Obviously, whether they can do things or not do things is up to them individually, and and I'm sure some of them can do things and have done things, and I'm sure some of them can also not do things, but that is not a result of them being a woman. That is a result of them either being competent or incompetent. Just as you can have, say, them being competent, you can also have them being incompetent, and the same also applies for our own gender and non-binary people and the rest. So, my take now or my take in 2019? What are you referring to, Dragance? Because right now, there is a better understanding that competence and incompetence is not unique or specific to certain genders. So, well, there are many things that I said then that I wouldn't really say now, because I understand MGTOW better and I understand generally how things work in society better. Oh yeah, thank you for the quote. The fool never learns. The smart ones learn from their own mistake and the wise learn from the mistake of others. That applies especially to relationships and divorce court. Now, obviously, Incessant 2, or as I called him, Incessant Simp, he wants you, if you've already been burned in a relationship with a woman, to try again and also again. As if doing the same thing multiple times with different outcome will somehow result in a different outcome. If you expect the same thing over and over again, do the same thing and expect a different outcome, then you really need to check your brain to see if it still works. That's putting it lightly.
And plus it's good that we're empowering men, and plus we actually have actual statistics, actual facts.
If men won't empower men and defend their interests, who else will? So I was based of then to say that. Based then and based now.
Actual data to prove our case, while feminists don't.
A lot of feminists become that way because men have hurt them in their lives and they can't get over their feelings.
But feminists have power and we MGTOWs don't, and they can do everything.
And a lot of men go MGTOW because women have hurt them in their lives and they can't get over their feelings.
It's not really... Okay, let's see. I said something back then. I need to...
About feelings, you little retard. Incessant Emmy. Listen up,
What a stupid insult.
Listen up, stupid crackhead. It's about divorce rate, it's about economics, and it's about women taking away 18 years of your life just because of stupid child support, which doesn't even go to the child but the woman.
So yeah, to elaborate on that point with my new and refreshed perspective, the difference is the fact that when it comes to child support, you can't really be guaranteeing that it goes to the child. It could go to the woman who's supposed to take care of the child, but it could just as well be a black hole for all we know. But yeah, as I said then, and as I still believe now, it's not about feelings. And let's hypothetically say it was about feelings, as he was suggesting. Shouldn't our feelings matter if theirs also matters? I feel like you were justified in having negative feelings if you were being forced to pay alimony for life, as in some states you can, and child support for 18 years. You would be kind of justified for being just a little bit mad about it. So why is it a problem if some men express said feelings, as he's suggesting? Of course, MGTOW is not about feelings, but let's say hypothetically it was. Why would it be a problem to express these kinds of feelings? Because if you don't express them, how else will you try to educate other men on not repeating your mistakes. Oh, and we also have like 5 viewers, and it's been 50 minutes so far. Great. Because of course it is. To them. Of course they'll make up something. That's the problem. The problem is that they water down the term so much that when you see actual misogyny, nobody can do anything because the people have cried wolf for far too long. And when there's an actual wolf, nothing can be done to stop it. Of course, the best way to stop misogyny is to not call everything you disagree with misogyny. But they can't really understand that now, can they?
It's not about feelings, it's about economics, you stupid fool.
So, this MGTOW ideology is completely anti-nature.
No, MGTOW is actually reasonable because we don't get fucked over, and you're probably a pussy worshipper.
Okay, I differ slightly here now than in 2019. Say it was anti-nature, anti-nature, anti-natural order. Who gives a fuck? Who honestly gives a fuck? Throughout the history of human evolution and human history, all we've seen, what you've seen with inventions and everything, is we've changing nature, changing how the world works for our own benefit. Exactly, and that's what I'm talking about. It's not bad to be anti-nature if being anti-nature means improving things. Okay, let's say tuberculosis is natural, polio is natural, smallpox is natural, the plague is natural. But is it bad to be against these things and to fix it? Of course not. Natural does not automatically mean good. Far too many people think that natural means good, and that's a myth that needs to be dealt with, and people need to be educated on, because not everything that is natural is automatically good. Well, that's why you want artificial wombs and surrogacy, because then that doesn't happen.
Oh, and I completely don't like your ideas because they're actually wrong. I'm sorry you still believe in the stupid pro-female ideology.
It's completely anti-family, anti-relationship.
We're anti-marriage and basically because marriage will screw us over, and we don't want to do that. We want to be single and we want to enjoy our own lives. What's the problem with that? Well, here's the problem you people have. It's that we do not spend our time with women, and you don't like that because you're all pussy worshippers.
Actually, I need to elaborate on that, because not only are some of them pussy worshippers, as I said back then, many of them, including the pickup artists and dating coaches, have direct economic interests of wanting as many men as possible to pay for very specific courses on how to get women, and MGTOW growing actually screws them over financially. So they will place their own finances and the finances of their courses above the good of men at large. So they'll place their own interests above the interests of all of us as a whole. So that's also a bit scummy, aside from idolizing women in that way. But with regards to MGTOW being, oh, my anti-family or my anti-relationship, tell me something. Would you be against something if that something is against you and your interests? Because honestly, most people would be against the things that screw them over. I'm not saying that family screws you over, because you can have kids without interacting with women. Well, that too, but either way, if men are incels and not MGTOW, it also benefits them, because they will still pay for courses if men are MGTOW. if men are MGTOW, they simply won't pay for the courses because then they're single and don't need the courses. It's superfluous. It's unnecessary. So there.
Just like that stupid fool's addicted to pussy. What a stupid existence you have.
Actually, I was right then, and that's the thing about simping in general. They all have this kind of addiction to puniti, or addiction to all of that kind of stuff that clouds their judgment. Even if you tell them or explain exactly why this addiction will screw them over, their addiction to that thing will cloud their judgment, and they will call you a misogynist or woman hating or bad for acknowledging it. So the best thing you can hope for is that they either learn the easy way, which is watching MGTOW videos, or learn the hard way, which is basically being screwed over by the same thing that they're addicted to. Either way they'll learn, but it's better for every single one of us, and especially better for them in particular if they learn it the easy way.
And what man just wants to be single? What man?
We all do, and I'm pretty sure I said something like that back then.
I do. Being single is I and other MGTOWs do. Being single is actually better
All that
than
I said
else.
back then, and I said now that we all want to be single, or at least us MGTOWs.
Because we won't get screwed over. This is just another tactic of, oh, you're not a real man unless you do all these risks and be with women. Actually, being single is far more enjoyable than being in a relationship.
Doesn't want.
I mean, forget about alimony, forget about child support, forget about all of the things that happen if you leave said relationship or leave the trap. Who wants to be nagged? Who wants to be told what to do or what not to do? Who wants to be told, oh, you've got to pick between me or insert whatever interests you have? Nobody. So of course being single is better. So I was based then as I was based right now. Obviously, in this one video, there were instances of situations where I was not based then, but in many aspects I was accurate.
Why would you want a group of people, i.e. women, that will screw you over later, ruin you, and then take all of your money, kids, and everything in divorce course, or not even that, falsely accuse you and do everything they can to attack you and do the anti-reputation campaigns, which is basically campaigns to ruin your reputation. Why would you?
I mean, as like Dragon said, that's also true, but moreover, it should not be your job. You shouldn't have to find out who is good or who isn't. You should be allowed to do your own things. And obviously, it's also kind of stupid to ask ad nauseum, oh, why would you want this or why would you not want this? Obviously, some simps will always want women, and you just have to recognize reality. Some will always want them, and other people will not want them, and it's simple. Some men are just wired to want them that way. Obviously, I don't think we MGTOWs are like that, or at least understand why it's not really a good idea, but not everyone is MGTOW. Should everyone be MGTOW? Should more people be MGTOW? I'm not sure if it's in everyone's interests, but obviously more men being MGTOW would be good. And obviously by people I mean men, because why would a woman even want to be MGTOW anyways? They wouldn't. But in all fairness, being single is a good idea, and I was going to go on a tangent explaining exactly what you said here, Dragance. Thank you for putting it in simple terms so that I don't have to go on a tangent.
I want a group of people that will attack you. I don't.
Not every single one of them is going to attack you, and that's what I have realized. But if you have to pick and choose who you can trust and who you cannot trust, then it's obviously not really desirable now, is it?
It's brainwashing. They're brainwashed.
No, you're brainwashed because you're addicted to pussy. We're actually the higher level people because we're actually high level men because we don't need pussy and we can do whatever we want.
I was reading comments based on what people are called, but makes sense. But still, I don't. I also want to educate something. Nobody is inherently better or worse for being single or not being single. Just that being single is objectively better because you don't get screwed over. Obviously, there's someone who could be married but not brainwashed, and obviously someone who is a single and still a simp, but you should be single because it benefits you. It does not automatically confirm you to be anything or give you any kind of superiority complex. To suggest anything other than simps being stupid because they're simps, or suggest any kind of hierarchy, would be to suggest a superiority complex. And that's where I would kind of disagree, but I at least understand, because many men who are married tend to be simps, or at least tend to have ridiculous takes when it comes to MGTOW.
Also, screw you and your pussy mentality. Of course, everyone that doesn't want to be in a relationship is brainwashed to you. But you don't realize you are the ones being brainwashed because no man needs a pussy to validate himself, and it looks like you clearly need pussy to validate yourself. We MGTOWs have internal validation while you don't. You're living a sad excuse of a life.
Actually, come to think of it, what I said here about this guy applies to pretty much all simps. But that is the difference between chasing external validation and having internal validation. And that's what makes MGTOW better. You don't have to chase the desire of others or chase the opinion of others and basically kowtow to them or do whatever you have to do to appease them to simply have validation. You know in your heart and you know in your mind that you're doing the right thing and that you should keep doing the right thing. And that's what makes MGTOW better, in my opinion. But also, honestly, I think we've covered enough of this video, and I also want to cover other videos. Anyways, I'll show this again. Fair point, but many MGTOWs can also accept solitude, as we're kind of built for this kind of thing. Which is also why I was surprised at the male loneliness crisis. I thought it was propaganda. I believed, why would the group of people most successful at being single suddenly have a loneliness crisis? But I now realize that not everyone who is male is automatically built for this. But if you're built for this, more power to you and more power to us. I'll cover that, but I want to cover other videos too. This could take a while. Anyways, let's go to the channel and cover some other topics. Wait, 6 watching. No. Live videos. It could take a while. Oh yeah, and I used to do live streams a lot. I tend to not do them much. But yeah, honestly, we have to go way down to 2019 era content. But many of the videos here will be relevant. All right. Where is it? Where's the video that I want to do next? There we go. So to explain briefly, this video was meant to describe some of the internal debates that were happening within MGTOW and my thoughts on them, and why some of these debates happened and what my opinions were at the time. Obviously, some of these debates are still happening, but it depends on what's happening, and many of the takes I have then could be different to now, but could also be the same.
Hello guys, this is Igor MGTOW and video games.
Oh, back then when I tried to emulate a British accent. Now I don't do that.
And today I have a video discussing about the recent questions. Well,
my voice sounds a bit annoying and sanctimonious in that video. I could have done better. And right now, if I was remaking that video, I would do better.
This is basically my rant. Okay, here we go. Why are these questions even questions in the first place? Can I have a girlfriend and still be MGTOW? Can I be married and still be MGTOW? Why the fuck are these even a question?
Because I wanted to base myself off of European English instead of American English. British English, so there. Anyways, he is not literal World War II German guy, but he is at best misinformed and at worst not delivering what he should be delivering in terms of results for men. Like, if the manosphere elected him to benefit us, then things are obviously not going the way we want it to go, because here's the thing. The trans community gets screwed over, which would have been acceptable if we got something out of it, but we're not getting anything out of it because Trump could have done something about no-fault divorce, could have said why it's bad, or could have advocated for more equitable or fair distribution, or not having alimony, but he has been silent on the issue and silent on what really matters for us. So the only thing that I see that's happening with Trump is that he's screwing over others for no good reason, involving himself in a sports debate that wouldn't exist were it not for it being a convenient excuse to attack minorities, and just not doing what we want him to do. We want some kind of male rights. No-fault divorce to be significantly amended. Common law marriage to be removed entirely, or at the very least, due process brought back for false accusations and some way of remedying the situation if you were falsely accused. We wanted at least something. At minimum, if he made a speech about why all of the things that are happening is bad, that would have been enough. That would have been something, but we got nothing, and that's one of the main reasons I dislike him. You could say that, but unfortunately even the tradcons are screwing us over, so the one good thing that the right wing had, they've pretty much lost it, in my viewpoint. But anyways, we should continue on with the topic.
They're not. MGTOWs themselves said no marriage, no long-term relationships.
Okay, so obviously the debate was whether you could have a girlfriend within MGTOW and whether you could be married within MGTOW. In my opinion, what I said back then when I was asking why the fuck is this even a question still rings somewhat true. But what I need to realize is that some debates will always keep happening because it's simply human nature. Some people will keep asking questions even if there are answers. But in all honesty, are you really going your own way if you're in a union with someone else and going someone else's way? Hello, Gravedigger. Hello, Gravedigger. I see you in the chat. But yeah, Gravedigger, if you don't know, the topic of the video is of the stream is basically me responding to myself in my past videos. But yeah, I don't think you're going your own way if you're going someone else's way, which in all honesty, a marriage is, because you're probably simping for a woman, probably doing what they're telling you to do. It just doesn't work. And I think even having a girlfriend would be unworkable, though I do recognize that short-term relationships could still happen, if only because common law marriage doesn't extend to that. But yeah, the reason why long-term relationships are not encouraged in MGTOW and are not MGTOW in my viewpoint is because of common law marriage. that means if you have a long-term relationship, you can be screwed over. It's still marriage, so no. Honestly, it's basically putting lipstick on a pig. Making marriage gay does not change the fact that it is marriage. It is the same thing. Painting a car pink does not change the fact that it's still a car. Whitewashing, say, a concentration camp doesn't change the fact that it's still a concentration camp. So, that is my example. So, no, but regarding long-term relationships, why those are unworkable? The state will make it so that you are basically de facto married, so when you try to leave, you also get screwed over with alimony and or child support. So you basically have all of the drawbacks of marriage, even if you don't have the paper saying you're married. Which in all honesty, even if without the drawbacks, a long-term relationship with the kind of commitment marriage has is basically similar, if not almost the same thing, just without the formality. But maybe you can disagree with that point. I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing things wrong. You're free to tell me if I'm seeing things wrong or not, but that's my viewpoint. Yeah, you're right, but I wouldn't encourage a long-term relationship anyways. Who would want to be in one? I mean, some would want to, but I'm not one of them. Honestly, continuing on.
Why the fuck are people still asking this? We have
Okay, Jesus Christ, past Igor. Of course people are going to ask this. What did you expect? Some people will always keep asking questions. It is our job as MGTOWs, if we have a job. You're free to have your own point, but I don't believe in regulating orientations. I know this because I never said this sentence in any of my past videos, as the viewers here can say, but you're free to have your own position, and I'm also free to have my own position. But I see that you've arrived on the stream, so welcome, Nature of a Man 68. Anyways, continuing on.
Explained a long time ago what the rules are in MGTOW. Why are we still discussing them?
Obviously, also, I need to inform you. You've probably arrived here recently, Nature of Man 68. This particular video of mine that I'm now reassessing is about whether or not you could be married or be in a long-term relationship to be MGTOW, which you obviously can't, but I was annoyed that this was even being asked. Rightfully so, though I could have done it way better, and I could have been a bit more civil and or level-headed about it.
What's the point? Anyone asking these questions, can I have a friend and still be MGTOW, or can I be married and still be MGTOW, is probably an infiltrator plant trying to muddy the waters in MGTOW so they can better destroy.
Okay. I need to elaborate on something because there's something I know now that I didn't reflect on back then. There is a difference between malice and stupidity. So someone who asks one time whether you could be married to be and be MGTOW is not necessarily trying to destroy the philosophy. You can be stupid without being malicious. Obviously, you can't be married and you shouldn't be married, but that doesn't automatically make you stupid. It does make you stupid, but it doesn't automatically make you an infiltrator or a plant. Yes, I will. I'll show them. But I'll have to temporarily switch tabs. But yeah, there was something about common law marriage here. So some states recognize common law marriage and other states do not. This is the map. Thank you for sharing this. But anyways, let's switch tabs. Of course it can. In many cases, it always is.
community.
Not in many cases, it's not always the case, but in many cases it is. Many is not the same as always, but it's in the vast majority of cases projection. So when people call you, oh, a misogynist for arguing reasonable points, then that's their problem.
Nobody should ask these questions, and a message to anyone asking this. Please refrain from asking this question, and if you are an infiltrator, please leave. We're tired.
Okay, what is the point? Here's the thing. Someone who's infiltrating MGTOW or trying to muddy the waters or simply disrupt the philosophy or any MGTOW space isn't going to respond to pleasantries or isn't simply going to be made to leave simply because you said please. So saying please leave is not helpful. But anyways, there is a difference between not knowing and asking for the sake of understanding, which firstly, you should watch MGTOW videos so you don't have to ask this question. And there's a difference between asking that because you want to know and asking that because you want to spread the idea that you can be married and be MGTOW. The second one is unhelpful and bad, but the first one is not as horrible as I would think. Hold on. Let's see. I mean, that depends country by country. Anyways, meatbags. Hello, meatbags.
I'm tired of this. I don't like the idea of basically infiltrator plants muddying the waters of MGTOW, thus destroying the community.
Like I said before, MGTOW is a philosophy, a lifestyle philosophy. But I have to bring about something that Brandon Trueblood said to me one time that I still agree with. MGTOW is neither big or little. You can have many different communities around many different content creators centered around the MGTOW philosophy, but there's no one central MGTOW community with a central control system, a central political party or politburo or whatever. In MGTOW, you're free to do your own thing or go your own way, in which case us content creators basically have our own little communities and our own little circles centered around MGTOW. Obviously, for example, Brandon Trueblood won't have the same positions I have. Hammerhand won't have the same positions I have. Not even Iridium or Undead Chronic or anyone else, with the note that Undead Chronic won't be MGTOW. But the thing is, that is to be expected. We all have our own little version or spin on MGTOW because while we understand the core message, we also have our own interpretations of that core message and our own ideas of how this core message should work. Obviously, you shouldn't be married, but not everyone in MGTOW has the same opinions as I do, and it's their right to disagree with me. People, and in particular men, obviously men in MGTOW, but even people outside of MGTOW, having different opinions to me is healthy because healthy disagreement is what allows for a marketplace of ideas to exist. So if you have different ideas, you can have debates. While if you censor everything, if you disable comments like a certain somebody does in these spaces, I'm sure some of you already know, if you disable comments, then you can't have debates. But if you have comments, if you have disagreements, then you can have a debate and discussion and you can explain why you think your idea is right and their idea isn't, and they can do the same thing. For example, this point from Nature of a Man. Do I agree with this point? Not exactly. Do I endorse it? Not exactly. But should Nature of a Man 68 be able to say it? Yes, he should be able to say it. Because if he says it, then he is able to defend the idea and explain why he thinks that idea is good. And in turn, I'm able to explain why I don't agree with that idea. Healthy disagreement and discussion is important. Free speech and freedom of expression is important. Honestly, who gives a crap about Reddit? sometimes Reddit is irrelevant, to be honest. Moving on to the video.
Have all been answered long time ago, so why is there even a discussion?
True, but this channel, we here do not fear criticism. I believe I can win on ideas alone, which is why I don't really endorse roasting anymore. I believe that having open comments is important. This is why every single one of my comments section, where possible, is open. Obviously, there are instances of having closed comments, but in many of these cases where my comments have been shut down, it's due to YouTube shutting them down. So if YouTube, so here's the thing, in these MGTOW circles, in the MGTOW philosophy, I will do everything in my power to keep my comments open, but if YouTube deletes a comment or censors it, there is nothing I can do about it. If YouTube deletes a comment, there's not much I can do, but where possible, I have done what I could to keep the comments open and to even unhide comments that YouTube would hide. I don't believe in the concept of OGs. Everyone is equal here. Same here. Well, maybe we shouldn't use Reddit then. But there is a value to some use of Reddit, but in all honesty, dealing with the headaches of mods and admins is not worth it.
Why? There's no point. And I think this should be stopped. So anyways, this was my 2-minute rant.
2-minute rant that almost lasted 3 minutes, a bit, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But the discussion in that video was whether you could be married and have a long-term relationship girlfriend and be MGTOW, to which I disagree with. But nobody has any authority to commandeer or tell you what you can and cannot do. And we should recognize that some people will always ask questions. As MGTOW, we can educate people, we can educate men, we can do everything we can in our power to explain and get them to understand that this is the way to go. But in going this way, you can't do this other thing, you can't be married. So not every question is an act of malice and an act of trying to destroy MGTOW. So maybe it was a little too harsh, but at least understandable, because there are many instances where individuals have tried to disrupt MGTOW and destroy things and also troll. For example, why does Grin Reaper have a wrench? Why does most of my channel have a wrench? It's because of someone named Miss Elite trying to destroy MGTOW and trying to troll the hell out of these streams. So, in order to prevent that, I gave people wrenches. Obviously, we have the right to be wary about those who try to disrupt MGTOW or water it down, because we don't want it watered down. But not every act of asking a question is an act of malice. Honestly, if you didn't interact with politics whatsoever, Reddit can be terrible. The problem is if you mention you'll find mentions of evil Orange Man literally everywhere, so it's impossible to ignore. Well, there's not a lot of things that Orange Man does that can be considered good, so I can't necessarily blame them for not liking Orange Man, but if you don't want to be involved in politics, you should have the right to not be involved in politics. Simple. I believe in freedom of speech, which means the freedom for you or anyone else to say your own viewpoint, and freedom for me, in turn, to say my own viewpoint. Now, obviously, this was a bit unequal, because you have people like Seraphim trying to hide me from other channels, and them doing so, but where possible, if I can give a freedom, I'll always do so. The point of this discussion is that this is a public space where everyone can describe their own viewpoints, explain them, and then argue their point. That's what MGTOW is about. we don't believe in censorship. We're not YouTube. Sometimes YouTube strikes MGTOW content. We're not like that. We don't strike others. We don't hide others. We believe in freedom, which includes the freedom to say what you want. Anyways, now we have to find another old video, and honestly, feel free to suggest old content. No, wrong. Wrong again. Okay, there we go. That is a bit recent, so let's find some other videos. Okay, we're actually doing it. If I can find the dodo bird video, that is. Obviously, this video should be redone. Top 5 reasons why you should join MGTOW. Should be completely redone in the new format. I'd be tempted to react to one of these videos, but wait, where's that video? I don't think I'll find it because I enlisted it, but ooh, I think I found something. Now this gives me flashbacks to a project. With MGTOW, I basically wanted to make a project that basically replaced YouTube, but the problem is I didn't know how web hosting and technology really worked. So that's the problem. Which one of these should I do? This one's good. Actually, I'll do public videos first, then unlisted, because it's a bit of a headache to find unlisted videos, while doing public videos is easy. I know what I said.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Oh no, not the cringe Manosphere vinyl style intro while he was still Portuguese MGTOW. Skip. Okay. Hold on, where is it?
It's like something I don't think. Which props guy? Which probably looks like something I don't even want.
Let's talk about some unique topics out there.
I wonder if this is the guy that said that there are 7 benefits of dating single mothers. I have to check, but I disagree with that too. But I believe that he had a problem with MGTOW and I debunked him. So let's see what I said that. And I made this video on February 21st of 2019, so very early in my channel. Let's see if anything has changed then, as it has now.
We're not brothers of blue.
I'm not sure if MGTOW Outlaw is here, but I think everyone else is here. But let's explain something with MGTOW Outlaw. He is not a simp. He is not a bad guy. There were 2 streams where he asked the question if it's still worth it to be married, and I, like any other MGTOW would answer no. But he would probably also had the same answer as I do, and if you watch the streams, he probably did, but I didn't watch it. I just saw the thumbnails and answered the question like I would with any MGTOW if they have a question. I honestly don't believe the marriage is the way to go about it, but MGTOW Outlaw probably shares the same viewpoint as I do. Thank you, Gravedigger, for hitting the like button. And the reason why we're doing this stream is to review old content that I made back then in 2019 and 2020, 2018, 2019, the golden age of MGTOW, slightly older. We're sadly not in a golden age anymore. Things could be better and should be better. But I wanted to review what I said then and discuss it from a new perspective now in 2026. That's called being a passport bro. I wouldn't recommend it as you're basically assuming that people are different just because they're in a different country, while Here's the MGTOW argument on that. You basically have to move to that country to get any of the benefits, because if you bring that woman home, then she'll be having the same kind of beliefs as the woman in your home country, and thus you would get the same divorce court problems, and you would still have to pay alimony and child support. So it's almost not even worth it. But that is an option for some people, and taking that option is called being a passport bro. I mean, it's obvious. We all are against marriage. I am, you are, everyone else is. I have yet to find anyone who is pro-marriage. I know, none of us believe in this bullshit of being an OG or being a sage. That's honestly what annoyed me about them. Okay, they had the intelligent idea of not regulating things by orientation, but they believe that they have the complete authority to speak on MGTOW matters because they happen to be a sage, they happen to be an OG, they happen to be a lightbringer. And I found that sanctimonious and elitist and annoying. So obviously, them trying to educate me on my own philosophy was extremely annoying. You're free to have your own opinion. Obviously, if you can be MGTOW, you should be MGTOW, but you don't have to be MGTOW. Nobody here has to be MGTOW to watch the stream. But I would encourage being MGTOW. It's a good idea. It's good to live by the philosophy that gives you the freedom to do what you want and to say what you want.
Bills.
You meet channels, and for the most part, I understand that. I do like their message on what they stand for.
Oh, this video was choppy, but anyways, let's go. I need to make sure I can hear what he's saying.
Some of these full-blown MGTOW guys, right? Ones who they'll go down, mate, they won't get married or have children or get in relationships, stuff like that. Woman. Also, but it was like just don't want actually no interaction.
I'm the one that wants no interaction with women. I'm happy with not interacting with women. They don't even look attractive.
Okay, I think I can see it, but basically, apparently this guy's problem, Chesamane's problem, is that we MGTOWs were basically MGTOW, men going our own way. And that, oh no, nobody wants to interact with women, or, oh, some men don't want to be with women and want to go their own way. Oh, whatever will we do? That's basically their problem. And obviously I called bullshit on him calling it a problem, because MGTOWs being MGTOWs is not a problem.
They're funny and disgusting.
Oh, fought he. See you later, Captain Rusty Rivers. Or in Serbian, as we would say, Kapetan Rusty Rivers.
Fucking females, that's
Where I would say right now is that I don't think all of them are disgusting or bad, but you really don't want to be on the bad side of a modern woman, and you don't want to be involved with that. If you can avoid a modern woman, if you can help it, if you can avoid a modern woman and the consequences that befall on you if you have to deal with them in terms of no-fault divorce and false accusations, you obviously should. You don't have to, but if you can avoid it, you should. So that's what I would have said right now, instead of calling all of them disgusting, because discussed or not discussed, it doesn't matter. The laws will be the same. It's why I think the whole awalt, nawalt argument is ridiculous and stupid and unnecessary. None of it matters if a single one of them can simply falsely accuse you and basically ruin your life and reputation, even if it's proven to be false. Exactly nature of a man. That's exactly what I was trying to say in this tangent. So the whole Avalt and Avalt argument doesn't mean anything. Obviously, I'm not sure if it's would be considered a weakness or would be considered bad, but statistical probability suggests that not every single woman in the entire world is like that, but the risks are not worth the benefits. So functionally, it doesn't mean anything. You can believe Avalt, Navalt, none of it matters in terms of laws regarding how no-fault divorce and family courts, and how false accusations work. I would be inclined to believe that argument as well, Dragan. But for the purposes of MGTOW, I would also agree with this viewpoint. Because the way things work in society is that, especially in terms of Title IX and false accusations, the word of a woman is basically regarded as the fountain of truth, as basically the essence of truth itself, if not seen as just truth. Not only truth, but the essence of truth itself, where truth is derived from. So if you get falsely accused, you're screwed over. Hello, Scar 1973 P7G. So when you are in a society where you can be falsely accused and lose everything because of it, then it's not really a society that benefits men. We should, in my opinion, completely reject male disposability and reject the idea that women are inherently worth something. Well, we are not, but as it stands right now, that is how society views us. Many things in society are easily explained if you believe that women are human beings while men are human doings, as Sandman once said.
Like, I've been on some of the comment section of some top MGTOW channels. I only watch a couple, and talking about some of the content on there from the.
Well, he can have his viewpoint if he opens up his comment sections. He really needs to open up his comment sections because unlike this channel, unlike every other channel, he tends to close all of his comments. But I don't care if Iridium is on his alt, if it's an alt, or if it's a main. The main point is that if you believe in freedom of speech, if you believe in MGTOW, you should have your comments open so that others can respond to you.
How some comments on there talking about how they'd rather fuck like sex dolls and all this shit.
Yeah, I would fuck a sex doll if I would be able to buy one. Because why would I deal with #MeToo and feminism?
Actually, I wouldn't want a sex doll, but I would support the concept out of solidarity with everyone else. Bingo! Bingo! 100%. If you close a comment, that means you don't believe you can win by ideas alone. You need to be able to believe that you can win by ideas alone if you want to win. That's why I did my debate with Brandon Trueblood. I did my debate with Brandon Trueblood because when it comes to my ideas, I believed I should defend my position, and I believed I should embrace opposition to my ideas instead of hiding from them. Now, many believe that Brandon Trueblood won. Unfortunately, Miss Elite tried to bot the poll, but I told Brandon Trueblood that it was being botted, so the polls were taken down before Miss Elite could do any lasting damage. But yeah, I believe that I could win by ideas. And here's the thing that I need people to understand. As much as Iridium Kush is being labeled as, oh, this paragon of LGBT rights, or, oh, this liberal or leftist person, He's not any of that. He's actually, in my opinion, as much of a tradcon as all the other tradcons outside of MGTOW. And I know this because of the fact that he enables behavior that I would consider tradcon on his own stream and on the streams of others. So obviously, if you enable someone to do that kind of behavior, if you endorse using the word gay as an insult, which obviously he does because he himself has done it, if you endorse people saying the F slur, which Bullets for Teeth and Incel frequently say, then you're not really having the kind of position that would be considered in any aspect progressive or even accepting of them. So as much as people want to say that he's accepting of minorities, I don't think he is. So that's my position. But that's going way off topic. We have old videos to cover.
When I can just deal with an inanimate object. An inanimate object will not give you an STD.
Bingo, correct. It could give you problems if you don't clean said inanimate object, but if you are doing it with a sex robot, which is what some in MGTOW advocate for, then you should know that you have to clean it or at least maintain basic hygiene so you don't get infection. But obviously this is saying things that should really be obvious to someone that doesn't need saying.
A sex doll won't give you an STD. So why would I want real women? Real women will give you kids and STDs, which I don't want.
Actually, having children would be nice if done via the artificial womb. I would like some kind of source for that, but here's the situation. There are two kinds of trans people, the kind that leave manhood and the kind that join manhood. Obviously, women cannot be MGTOW, but when it comes to discussing trans people, we have to understand that the only benefit in accepting them is accepting those who join us. And even then, it has to be done through a democratic election, in my opinion. You cannot force something on the rest of MGTOW through force. If you want something changed in MGTOW, if you want a policy, you have an election. Now, when it comes to the MGTOW manifesto, when people were discussing if it's about making men masculine and about making women, the woman part overrides the man part, in my opinion. Yeah, there is a value and a virtue in gatekeeping, but the main disagreement between me and someone like Nature of a Man 68 is how said gatekeeping should work and what kind of gatekeeping is being done here. But gatekeeping is important, otherwise you would have people like Miss Elite running around and trolling everyone. I don't believe we should have people like Miss Elite around here, so gatekeeping is necessary to keep them out. But as I was saying, if you want something to be changed in MGTOW, or if you want a policy to be different than it is now, in terms of the core values and the core fundamentals of the philosophy, you hold either a debate or an election. You don't force down the throats of others your own vision. And circling back to the MGTOW manifesto, when it comes to making women feminine and making men masculine, and whether that was the focus of MGTOW, what I did was exactly that. Hold a poll on the issue. And I got, on both cases, a decisive no majority. A philosophy is basically a way of life and a perspective of life and how you see it and what you believe in. Obviously, I could be wrong on this, but that's my opinion. But anyways, I will have to quit responding to things related to Iridium Kush as we have the main topic. I don't believe MGTOW is ready for the kind of expansion that we are considering, so I wouldn't be supportive of the idea now. If, however, we wouldn't be facing problems then I would be open to accepting such an election being done about the issue. But right now we have too many problems to deal with already, and more problems is not something we need right now. People here are free to watch this content. What you're not free is to act like Miss Elite, and if a MGTOW is a philosophy for men, it's exactly that, a philosophy for men. It doesn't make sense to claim MGTOW if you're not a man.
You fucking kidding me? What does that make you sound like? You sound like a fucking loser.
We don't care about your opinion, Mr. Shazane. We Victors are going to do whatever the fuck we want. We don't care about what you think. We don't care if we are called losers.
Well, come on, that was a bit sanctimonious and annoying when it comes to my voice, but honestly, the best way to respond to the claim of, oh, MGTOWs are losers, oh, MGTOWs are this or that, is to understand it's a shaming tactic and refuse to refrain it. People who call MGTOW losers are trying to get a rise out of you. The Diddy allegations are not relevant to the discussion at hand, which is about my older videos. If Iridium did that, and there are some claims he did, then that's something that should be covered in another stream, dedicated to such issues. But this has a different topic. When we're discussing this different topic, we should stay on topic. Again, I don't agree with regulating MGTOW based on what your orientation is or whether you like women or not, but you're free to have that opinion. I say this because I've had the same perspective I've had right now as I had back in 2023 and even before. When Hammerhand tried to say that MGTOW, that you had to like women to be MGTOW in 2023, I remember disagreeing with it. Of course I would. But you have the right to have your own opinions. But the thing is, I have never had issues with others having their own opinions, but I've had my own constant opinion. And the one thing that I believed in is that I didn't believe in regulating it based on that, and I didn't believe you should have to like what I didn't consider likable to be MGTOW, because to mandate that is to basically mandate simping and pandering to women, and I would never, not once in my life, encourage simping and pandering to women. And the thing is, I've never pretended to be in favor of this opinion, and I've went to great lengths in Hammerhand's chat when I was still able to, in other chats to discuss my viewpoints. So I've never pretended anything or betrayed anyone. I explained why I disagree with it, and if you don't agree with that, my opinion, that is your prerogative, and you have the right to your opinion, and I also have the right to mine. Simple.
We'll still do what we want.
Annoying voice, come on.
Objects. Because you can't be asked, you just don't want to interact with females to try and get fucking sex. Are you stupid?
I'm not stupid for my decision to like sex dolls more than women. Especially women are risky. They have STDs, STIs. They can hashtag me too you. They're risky and most of the pussy is worthless. It's worthless. Why do you even want it? You should not be proud of having a lot of pussy.
Actually, regarding what I said back here in 2019, I supported the idea of sex dolls and sex robots for the same reason Sandman or Turd Flinging Monkey or everyone else did. But that did not mean that I would be willing to have one directly, because I don't need it. And for the record, this was also my own a reflection of my position on whether or not you should like women or even be with them, which is which which is that you shouldn't have to be with them or even like them, and that it was not a good idea. Very simple. The reason why I said you should not be proud of it is because if you're bragging about being with tons of women, you're basically bragging about either being a simp, a PUA, or both. And are bragging about having a high body count. Now, we in MGTOW disagree with women having a high body count because we do not believe having a high body count is good. But if we disagree with them having a high body count, it is also natural to disagree with men, in particular simps, bragging about their own high body counts, because much of the same problem with women having a high body count is also the case with men having a high body count. So that is what I should have mentioned there, but didn't.
Kidding me? What I found was a lot of these MGTOW guys, yeah, they're fucking losers. I think a lot of them are fucking losers.
Still, we don't care. We are going to do what we want. So fuck off, all of you.
Oh yeah, that's my stupid song that I tried to. Actually, it was a smart to basically annoy the simps and basically taunt them, but I would have done it in a way better way than a cringe song. I called it cringe because it doesn't sound the way I want it to sound. It's my personal aesthetic, but I did agree that Chesamin was stupid for calling MGTOW losers, because of course he is. And regarding chat, Scar and Trans Ally, you can keep arguing with each other, but the topic of the stream is my old videos and my perspective of whether I still believe in the same things I did back then and what I could have done better. If this topic is to be discussed, that drama, that will be done in its own separate stream, but we have to stay on topic. But okay, I'll entertain one point. I would be willing to have a pragmatic deal with them where if they support us on the artificial womb, we'll basically allow them to do whatever they want as long as they don't screw us over, because I believe in pragmatism and deal making, but that is determined by whether or not they're willing to do what they should do to help our side win. Normal is also actually 3 words. Actually 4: heterosexual, heteromantic, cisgender, and endosex. So that's what I have to mention, because when you say normal, you're basically describing 4 separate things at once. And that's something that you should recognize. I also want to add to the point when it comes to when people say MGTOW is for normal men. I believe saying that is a sugarcoating. Why? Because what is actually being said is that you must like women to be MGTOW. The reason why I didn't like that phrasing is because it was a sugarcoating. What should be done is an honest, you must like women to be MGTOW, and we can disagree on that point. But trying to sugarcoat it and avoid saying what the consequence really is not a good thing. Exactly, Mark Freeman.
We are going to do what
Come
we
on.
tell.
Annoying.
We call them MGTOW monks.
Well, yeah, those who don't engage with women at all are basically MGTOW monks. Basically, same here. If we can work with them, if they're willing to work with us, we can work with them and basically have an agreement on what's our interests and what's their interests, and basically have some kind of deal. Because it also annoys TERFs, and that is a good idea. So I pretty much share some, if not most, of the same opinion you share here, Mark Freeman.
talking about female nature. I'm not as well. Catch.
Hold on, I have to say. I disagree, but there is value in cooperating with others if it leads us to further gain. But I disagree with that viewpoint because we can also do things on our own, and we can fight on our own, and if we can, we should. They're not the only option.
You don't catch me fucking a sex doll. You mad?
There's nothing
Some of these guys don't have the. Just can't bring themselves to interact with women properly.
We MGTOWs don't even want to interact with women. For example, me, I don't want to interact with women and I try to avoid women every way possible. But they just keep giving me attention. And that's a problem. I want to avoid women because they're useless. They're honestly really useless, in my opinion.
Actually, not all of them are useless, but the value of avoiding long-term relationships and or marriage is that you avoid false accusations and avoid no-fault divorce. So, that's a good point. I agree. So, yeah, the thing with Chesamane is that he believes that puniti is God's gift to men on earth. And I disagree with that opinion. So when I called him out, even if I did it in a way I would not consider less respectable, I was doing the right thing. Because he was chasing puniti and believing that those who don't chase puniti are losers. And I disagreed with that.
I don't know how to go about it. I think it's almost too much hassle and all this shit. Yeah.
Because it is. Any sane male will not want to have #MeToo and lose reputation. For useless pussy that they could have just bought from a prostitute.
Benzos are nice, to be honest, but not really relevant to the discussion. We have to wait and see. I don't think that is the case.
So they'd rather fucking have a wank for the rest of their days or fucking sex doll. What sad shit is that?
There's nothing sad with that. For example, we can do whatever we want. That's a part of MGTOW. You do you. That's part of MGTOW. To each his own. Everyone can do whatever they want in the MGTOW community. And it's not really sad. If someone's happy, if someone in the MGTOW community is happy with a sex doll, then so be it. To each his own.
Actually, to elaborate on that point, that is one of the instances where I was right then and I was right now. If you're going your own way, you're going your own way, which means you doing your own thing, which means it's not sad if you want to do it with a sex doll or a sex robot, or if you don't want to do it, because if you can help it and avoid being a simp to women, then you obviously should, and it's not a problem, like he was saying. So I was right then for acknowledging this fact, and I'm right now. As much as some in this philosophy want to tell you what you can and cannot do, you should just not listen to them. You have the freedom to do what you... There we have an admission. Why didn't you just admit it in the first place? Could have been way easier. Come on, now I'm annoyed. I thought Scar 1973 was a different person. Now that's just annoying. Okay, why didn't you show up with your main account? You're not censored here. Moving on.
Like a fucking grip, man. Like that's some fucking bullshit right there, man. Sex stuff.
It's not bullshit.
Come on. Fucking wake man. Wake up.
Honestly, this dude telling us to wake up is quite ironic. It's just some drama that's irrelevant to the topic, so I don't even bother covering it. For all I care, Iridium Kush is a tradcon, and I oppose tradcons, so it doesn't matter. If anything, I'm the one that's more likely to defeat tradcons. Because you've had people like Seraphim or Charaz Nabal say, "Oh, ha, gay," ad nauseum, and being annoying and thus unintelligent when doing that. And yes, I will call it unintelligent, because saying that and using gay as an insult is unintelligent. But Iridium Kush is not any better. So, Iridium Kush has failed to he has failed to focus on actually doing what should be necessary to deal with tradconism, and instead is doing whatever bullshit this is now. So that's why I don't like him. As far as I know, he's a tradcon and he enables transphobia and homophobia and all kinds of stuff. Because remember, Bullets uses the F slur. So does IncelX. I've seen them do that. But that's not really relevant to the point. But yeah, regarding my videos then and my video and my takes now, there are many things that I believe when it comes to my videos that I did right, that I still believe I did right, but there are other things where I have a different position. I have this different position because I know better and I have had time to learn things. So because I've learned things, I know better, and okay, I'm going to address it. Keep drama out of this chat. Okay, that should get them to stop discussing the drama on the stream not related to drama. I'll even post it. Anyways, time to find another video to discuss. And then we'll basically leave it at that. Okay, so I'll do a random video. But it should be the last one because the stream has lasted a while and is clearly devolving into drama, and I don't want that. Anyways, I'm not even going to cover drama, so not relevant. Hold on, someone is awake. I don't like it. Hold on. Not relevant, which one? Which one do I pick? There's so many. There's so many. This one would be good. And to explain the context here, Bulldog Mindset throughout 2020 and 2021 was a guy who is basically the quintessential PUA, a pickup artist. So he was shitting on MGTOW and attacking it to shield his own perspective. And obviously we didn't like it, so we responded. I'd like to remind everyone to keep drama out of the chat. I'll even, hold on. Is there a way to wrench people from StreamYards? I don't know. Because I don't want it devolved to drama. Oh, your moderator's not here. Hold on. Irrelevant. Hold on. Live stream. I have to basically pause temporarily. Not really pause, but find the live stream so that I can wrench people. True. Okay, now it's loading. So apologies for the temporary pause. But someone needs to be wrenched in order to defend against the drama. When we have a rule stating no drama means no drama. As much as I want to give everyone freedom of speech for discussion, devolving into drama is not something I want. Hold on, where is he? Dragan, not Dragan. Hopefully I'm doing the right person. Add as moderator. Let me know, Dragan, are you wrench now? Do you have a blue wrench next to you? I hope I did it correctly. I don't want to block you, but I want there to be no drama in my chat. And if I were to block you, I would also block him. Equal opportunity blocking. So there. But anyways, let's focus back on what we really want to focus on, which is basically my stream. So let's begin.
Hello.
That applies to you, Scar. You should also stop. Oh no, you're a weirdo. Who gives a fuck? Who honestly gives a fuck? Of course we should keep MGTOW, but you won't get me to endorse the position of regulating things based on orientation. Sorry, you just won't get me to endorse that position, and calling me a weirdo wouldn't phase. I've been called a NISTOW, a ball fondler, and all of this other crap, so you calling me a weirdo doesn't faze me. Honestly, both sides suck, to be honest. But let's get to the stream.
Hello guys, this is Igor, MGTOW, and video games, and today we're going to respond to bullshit mindset. So anyways, let's roll in.
In this video, we're going to be talking about MGTOW again.
You sound like the most uneducated person to talk about it.
Because he was uneducated and he keeps calling MGTOW male feminism when it's not.
Also, you don't know shit about MGTOW. You probably only use it to have as your title so that you can basically post bullshit. You cannot win.
Well, he didn't win because he was an irrelevant channel. Simple.
These guys really started, a lot of them, the victim mind.
Funny coming from a pickup artist. Same here, nature of a man. Same here. Let me explain why he was biased. He is a POA. Like all POAs, pickup artists and dating roaches, they are biased in order to have a profit motive, in order to keep getting profits. You cannot do that if MGTOW grows, because instead of paying for your courses, men will simply realize that it's better to go your own way. So he did whatever he could to destroy and malign MGTOW because of it.
It's actually projection, because the only person I see that has the victim mindset is actually you.
I was right then, right now.
And I think it's really important to understand this. I'm actually going to read a really interesting comment that I got.
You mean the comment you cherry-picked and support? Because I don't think I'm going to see actual real opinion.
Because he has done cherry picking in the past. Let's be real. He has done cherry picking, and he also liked his own comments. And I know this because I watched the Bulldog Mindset's videos on MGTOW and disagree with it.
And from a guy on one of my videos.
Bullshit mindset.
Okay, but I didn't need to spell out the obvious so many times. It's obvious that it's bullshit. Just let the intro play.
So pathetic.
I'm John from Bulldog Mindset. I'm on this channel. I teach you how to be a man.
Nobody needs how to teach you into man. MGTOWs can teach you how to be a man basically for free, and can teach you how to be MGTOW and a man if of any age. If you're a male from 0 to whatever age you live to, you can be a man and MGTOW.
I agree with it. I agree with what I said. MGTOW is all you need if you want to be a man. You don't need special courses, this or that course or this or that guru telling you what being a man is all about. So yeah, when I said that I was wholeheartedly right and I was right then, I'm right now.
You don't need him to fucking teach you how to be what you are.
How to build financial independence.
Financial independence, I can do it on my own. I don't need your help. In fact, the Brave referral program is working so well for me. And while we're on the Brave...
This is basically an advertisement because I was shilling Brave for Brave attention tokens. And while I still like the Brave browser and what it does in terms of ad block, that part was really shilling for more Brave attention tokens, like Sandman was once doing at the time. I agree with this assessment, but saving humanity is not anyone's job. Your job is first and foremost to save yourself. First save yourself, because nobody else will do it for you, and then you save others.
And while we're on Brave, while we're on Brave is a good web browser. It blocks YouTube ads and ads in general, thus meaning you can demonetize YouTube as a revenge. I recommend you...
That's right, but you want to do so not just for revenge, but because ads are so fucking annoying. I remember in the YouTube mobile app having to click through a video 5 times because 5 out of 6 times an ad would play before the video. And even in many instances, inside the videos themselves, a video would skip and then an unskippable ad would play. So that was annoying. Sadly, you can't really do that on the YouTube mobile app without, I don't know, without basically YouTube Premium. But on desktop, you have the privilege of having a browser with an ad blocker. So if you are on a desktop platform, you should obviously use an ad blocker. So I was right then.
There is a choice for search engines within Brave, and I recommend DuckDuckGo because it's the best search engine, keeps your privacy, and things are really good. Plus, there is Brave Attention Token and Brave Referral Program, so that you can also earn Brave Attention Tokens if you really want, and thus meaning monetize your content through Brave. Also, Brave does not spy like Google. Click on my link in the description to download Brave.
Actually, any software can be considered spyware if it's broken into or modified, but Brave doesn't do all of the tracking that Google does. But you really should set a browser search engine other than Google to have the full benefits of Brave. But that's just really me confirming what I already said back in, when was it? January 27th, 2020.
Anyways, let's get back to the topic.
It's how to get the physique you want.
Physique. You're on steroids.
Actually, it's now called hormone replacement therapy because steroids is simply another term for hormone replacement therapy. And even taking testosterone as a man, if you do it externally, it is hormone replacement therapy, no sugarcoating. Same bullshit clavicular promoted. Except that if you take testosterone, what will happen is that your body will notice you have it, and thus will stop producing it on its own. So, if you keep the act up, you will basically be forced to get all of your testosterone through a syringe instead of producing it naturally, because your body believes it doesn't need to produce it anymore. Which is why taking steroids, as it's called back then, or hormone replacement therapy, as it's called right now, or juicing, or any of the other things you call this, as a man would be unintelligent. At least in my viewpoint. If you're not fixing gender dysphoria or not fixing a deficiency that exists, and there is some deficiency because there's lowering testosterone levels throughout men in the world, then it's not really a benefit to you. That too. I didn't know you were still here in the stream, but that too is a valid point.
I don't need your help with physique. In fact, I can do it on my own.
In terms of physique in the MGTOW, as I was saying, all you need in terms of physique is to work hard on it and to basically exercise. You don't need to pay someone for a specific course to do it. Exercising is free. So paying someone for a course or paying this or that for this specific test is for this specific, how do I put it? Specific test for if you're a bulldog mindset, or for the courses themselves on how to get girls or women or anything else, is quite stupid. I see, it makes sense.
Well, I'm doing whatever I want. In fact, I'm far better than you when it comes to the Brave referral program and the amount of support and likes I get on my channel.
Financial independence is something that you can learn on your own. You don't need a course. And if you're following a course, there are way better options than following a PUA. So that is a simple point I have to say.
No.
How to get the girls that you want.
Girls! Who needs girls? That's one of the most useless, retarded things you need. Why? You don't need to be a drone zombie always needing pussy, because basically these soy boys that always need pussy to continue their own existence, disregarding their own life and their own livelihood in pursuit of pussy. You are one of those guys. Dumb, addicted people.
Actually, that's a right point, but I want to mention on what I said with soy boy. The idea of soy boys came with the idea that taking soy increases estrogens. But the problem here with such an idea is that plant estrogens and bioidentical estrogens are different, which means that plant estrogens won't actually work. So calling people soy boys is retarded, because plant estrogens don't do anything that synthetic or bioidentical estrogens would do. So that's a bit of a scientific point there, which I could elaborate in another video. But also, I was right when I said that if you are focused on puniti and nothing else, and if you have to, and if you take it, and if you disagree with MGTOW because you want to keep chasing puniti, that you're nothing more than a mindless drone. Obviously, you should aspire to have some kind of life that isn't being a mindless drone, but sadly POAs don't teach you how to live your own life because it's not in their interests. Their interests are to basically get you to be a full-time cash cow for them. And that, and being a free and independent MGTOW do not necessarily correlate well with each other. So there.
For the victim mindset to the bulldog mindset.
That's basically the same mindset, because the MGTOW mindset is better, and plus you already have the victim mindset because you attack MGTOW constantly.
What I said back then is true. The bulldog mindset is a PUA mindset. It's the same as the victim mindset. And Nature of a Man 68 brings about a good point. If only Simpson need validation and attention from modern 304s, it's pathetic. I agree. If you need attention from hoes as if you cannot live without it, then you are the one with the problem. Good question, Dragan. I plan to do it once I reach like the halfway point, somewhere around here, because I feel like I've discussed enough, but I want to add more to the stream, as we were a bit sidetracked with drama. And I don't like being sidetracked with drama, because the issue with drama is that it can be discussed in a separate stream. But this stream is not the stream about the drama. If there's stuff to be discussed regarding drama, it should be done on a separate stream dedicated to it. And if anyone out here was hidden by any of my wrenches for the duration of the stream, they will be unhidden. But if you're on the stream, you need to respect the rule of at least keeping comments semi-on topic, because we're not discussing drama here, we're discussing my past videos. So it makes sense to be speaking related to that.
If that sounds like something you are about, click the subscribe button.
No, click the dislike button. MGTOWs are far better than this showpiece trap cock PUA.
Join us.
We're better than POAs, like I said. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Generally, people in my streams are free to say what they want, and I will keep that freedom, but I don't want to be sidetracked by drama in a stream not related to it. Because not even a Hammerhand would accept this. Brandon Trueblood won't accept this. Neither would Rusty Rivers or One Fast Dax. So if they're all streaming, if we're all streaming, we generally keep our chats related on topic. So, like I'm saying, if you can't respect the simple rule of no drama on a stream not related to drama, then that's an issue. But I will do whatever I can for people to still be free to comment on things and say their own opinions. But yeah, I shouldn't be demonized or attacked for simply doing the same thing Hammerhand or Brandon Trueblood or One Fast Dack or Rusty Rivers would do, because not even they would tolerate their streams being sidetracked by something else. And I obviously understand them. It's their stream, they're right. My stream, my right. Simple.
On this quest. So
I'll join to destroy your quest.
what I'm going to read to you today is a comment here. This guy, Charles Hurst, mentioned himself.
Okay. Let's see what kind of bullshit he posted.
Commented on this video I did. I did this video, what does MGTOW really want?
What does MGTOW really want, as Bulldog Mindset feebly tried to explain, can be simply understood by the expression of "we are free to do our own thing." MGTOW is first and foremost about freedom to your own thing. That's something that is common with my older videos. What did you expect?
Yes, he upvoted his own video.
Like I was saying, Bulldog Mindset upvotes his own videos and is thus cringe. I don't like my own videos because I want all of my likes to come from people that actually watch the videos and watch the show and actually support it.
How dare you upvote your own comments videos? Like, he's really desperate because I don't need to, because plenty of people are supporting my channel and plus my like to dislike ratio is far better than yours.
Back then, to explain context, you actually were able to see dislikes, and dislikes weren't hidden from you. YouTube made the very cringe move of removing dislikes because YouTube didn't like it when people disliked content, and thus the only way to do things is to do things the Twitter way, which is to ratio people. But that's annoying because you would have to read through all of the comments for likes. And to explain ratioing is when there are more comments on a video than likes, especially comments disagreeing with you. I think similar things work on Blue Sky, and like I said in a community post of mine, I also intend to create a Blue Sky account and go over there, and I hope that everyone else in MGTOW, including Hammerhand and all of the other content creators that I've watched from time to time, also make a Blue Sky account and go over there. We should have a presence there just like we have a presence on Twitter, MGTOW.tv, Rumble, or Odyssey. Simple.
To do was really be, in the previous video when I talked about MGTOW, I used a lot of shaming language. I agree with that.
Yes, your shaming language is stupid.
And
well, at least he admitted it. And obviously I was right when I called shaming language stupid, because it is stupid.
Trying to be pretty forthcoming and saying that, I agree with a lot of the MGTOW stuff, but here's
okay, boomer.
where you guys get it wrong with the victim mindset. Not all MGTOW fall to this.
Yes, because some MGTOWs have to buy your product. Plot twist, MGTOWs don't buy your products and your shit.
That is true. We don't like PUA bullshit. We don't subscribe to their beliefs. That I agree with. People are disliking content from Hollywood en masse, hence the change. But I feel like it's also to protect the fifis and feelings of others. But the fact of the matter is that facts simply don't care about your feelings. And protecting feelings from facts is not a smart move.
Generation of younger men hate women.
There was nothing said, oh, hating women. Let's talk about that. In your retarded worldview, hating women means not buying their products and not marrying and not having relationships. So obviously. Oh. And it's basically, Bulldog's mindset is like this. Oh, just because meth ruined you and your life doesn't mean all meth labs and meth is bad. Please go back to consuming meth. That's literally what he's saying.
Back then, I had more of an anti-drug mindset than I have right now, but the same thing can apply. Being a PUA is ultimately about promoting something that's bad for the rest of men in order to further your own self-interest. So basically, when he's attacking MGTOW, the same comparison can be made. It's like saying, oh, fentanyl, just because it was bad for you once is not bad for you, do it again, or something like that. Bullshit. And it's basically him promoting what is bad for the rest of us just because he wants to line his own pockets. And that's really why we MGTOWs hate pickup artists. It's not honorable, it's not decent, it's lining your own pockets at the expense of men, and also perpetuating and or helping the incels and the incel community, because all the pickup artists and incels do is feed off of each other and basically amplify each other's effects. And both are bad for MGTOW and the manosphere, which is why we dislike them.
just because you've had bad experiences, but give them wisdom to understand how to deal with.
But give wisdom to understand how meth is sometimes good. No, I'm not buying your bullshit mindset.
With these kind of situations, right? Typical red pill.
Yeah, I did really use the example of methamphetamine being bad for you to describe why pickup artistry is bad, but the fact of the matter is, even if you believe that there are some good things about relationships, it's not a good idea to promote courses on how to date women and shill for said courses and line your own pockets at the expense of other men. And it's why MGTOWs will never have any real peace with pickup artists, because they won't stop doing that thing. They won't stop grifting. The pickup artists won't stop grifting, and the pickup artists themselves won't like MGTOW because MGTOW puts an end to their lining of pockets and an end to their courses and basically their revenue. It's good that it's putting an end, but because it's putting an end, pickup artists don't like it.
Type the stuff, spew of hate. And
Yes, because we don't want to marry and because we're warning people.
True, what I said back then was true. And to point something that Nature of a Man 68 said, when people attack the philosophy, I think one of the two things, they're feminist indoctrinated or they have a very surface level understanding and they get snippets from all the fakes like Tate, Fed, and Simp. Always Fed and Simp, a good name for fresh and fit, and just pearly things. And I would agree with you, Nature of a Man 68, because either you get your information from people who have an inherent bias against MGTOW, or you're getting surface level takes from people that are not MGTOW at all. Andrew Tate is not a MGTOW. Fresh and Fit is not even MGTOW content, and just pearly things can be reasonably considered to be a chameleon. So when you get snippets from people, especially like Andrew Tate, who are focused on their own bullshit, I'm not sure if you can even call it their own philosophy, but their philosophy of, I don't know, advocating for trafficking of others because there's evidence of doing that, having a degree named Pimping Host degree, PhD as they call it, and generally just being a bad person to others. That makes people think it's bad. But Andrew Tate is not MGTOW. What Andrew Tate is doing is not MGTOW. It's not about going your own way. And there's even a short where he attacked MGTOWs and called it weak or pathetic or something. I'd have to share it, but he did criticize MGTOW, and we obviously criticize him because he's not doing what any good person in the MGTOW community and the manosphere should do, or at least in the MGTOW sphere should do. None of his takes are about how being single helps men, and it's bullshit related to being an alpha male and selling the same bullshit POAs are selling. Me neither, I also don't understand them, but the problem is what happens when you conflate multiple communities within the manosphere together. The mainstream media is especially guilty of this, comparing the MGTOWs and incels and saying they're the same when it's obviously not the case. So much of the blame for this lies with the mainstream media because they treat every single thing as the same when it's not.
It's hate to you because you can't earn anything from MGTOW. You're such a retarded piece of garbage.
And I was right then. He is a retarded piece of garbage for shilling courses to line his own pockets at the expense of men, and are perpetuating the incel problem as a result.
Damn, this guy's a cock, and comments about all kinds of.
Because you really are a cuck.
Ad hominem personal attack.
Those are not ad hominem personal attacks, Mr. Dumbass. They are actual, real comments telling you who you actually are.
Calling a spade, as I did back then, is not a personal attack. It's not an ad hominem. calling someone who lines their own pocket, sells courses on dating at the expense of men is not an ad hominem attack if you can prove that they do that. Once again, agree. I completely agree with this. There is nothing in MGTOW saying you can't have a previous criminal conviction and not be MGTOW. Irrelevant. Just this entire take is irrelevant. If you have a bad past, if you made mistakes, let's entertain, for example, that did happen. That does not make you less MGTOW because you're still following the philosophy and way of life. But I wouldn't exactly buy it. And even Mike the MGTOW Man one time went to jail. Is it really a problem? Okay, say I robbed a bank. Say I robbed a bank one time, stole the entire vault, got convicted, got sent to, I don't know, 30 years in prison, and then after 5 years of being released from that 30-year sentence, say in 2050 or 2060 or 2070 was then MGTOW. Would I be less MGTOW because I robbed a bank? Of course not. Prove it. But yeah, if I robbed a bank, served time, and then went MGTOW, I wouldn't be less MGTOW than I am right now. Okay, let's continue on topic. Because what you're doing is, with Rusty Rivers, is also drama. The same rule that applied to Trans Ally applies to everyone here, including you.
I always expect from MGTOW guys. Actually, not too many downvotes on this one. Only 371 downvotes.
Oh yes, you're so desperate by giving yourself an upvote. How stupid do you have to be?
But yeah, so I guess as this video keeps getting watched more, then we'll see like a huge downvote cam.
Maybe you will not get downvotes if you don't attack us first. We've given you a chance not to attack us, but yet you continue to attack us, and then you act shocked when we respond.
That is the case with a lot of these people. They attack others and then act surprised when there's are downvotes. But I wouldn't even say it was a downvote campaign. If many people dislike a thing independent of each other, that is not necessarily a coordinated downvote campaign, as it is simply people not liking something. So that is what I would add.
Guys do. Anyway, I know the video was pretty balanced. It was really, indicating what my purpose is.
Do not click his subscribe button. His channel is honestly worthless.
Yeah, it's unnecessary to state that because no sane MGTOW would actually click the subscribe button. There's nothing simply watchable or important. I was just responding temporarily to something, but I'll continue.
To do here, guys. I mean, you guys have been following me for a while. I'm going to help you be a better man.
Help us to be better men. We're already men and we don't need your help. In fact, MGTOW is far better helping us being men than you are. Oh, yes. Listen, imagine a drug dealer saying, but I'm just helping you be a better drug addict so you buy more drugs from me. That's what Bulldog mindset is basically saying.
An apt example, because that's what being a POA is all about. Saying that you're here to help you be a better man is useless because you don't need any special course to be a man, and you don't need to pay them for that, and you also don't need any special course because the courses that pick up RSL is akin to basically a drug dealer teaching you how to be a better drug addict. So what I said back then was a good point.
Do not buy any of his products.
Trying to teach you the things that you need to know to be a man. It's kind of funny. Some people say, "Hey, John, that's pretty weird. You're going to teach me how to be a man."
We don't need your help. I decline your help, and in fact, you're not helping anyone. Imagine putting all of those tags, because you have to put them so that you're getting everything.
Yes, I am going to fucking teach you how to be a man, because you don't know how to fucking be a man. All right?
Yes, we do. No, you don't.
If that weren't...
Sorry, we don't want to be pussy addicts, so we don't care about your attitude. Go fuck yourself.
I was right. We don't need the attitude of others. We don't need courses telling us how to be men or how not to be men. And I'll respond. Stop being facetious. You already know. You already explained yourself. This is ridiculous. Also, keep drama out of the chat, Scar or Iridium Cushes. You are, because this is an alt. Okay, let's continue.
Problem. I wouldn't need to have a full channel and make videos about how to be a fucking man, but it is a fuck. I'm not...
You don't need channels or anything to be a man, so he's wrong.
Here to attack.
Yes, it is a problem, and continue attacking MGTOW. We are really sure your girlfriend likes you and she is doing everything for you. Yes, continue attacking us, because we already know that you're so stupid and you cannot do anything. We know already that you're an incapable piece of work.
And that is true. I could have insulted him less because I believe in winning in ideas. No, Beth, don't come here. Sorry, I don't want women. And yes, I took that action to get Beth undefeated or Beth in charge out of the area.
Because I want to start a fight, or because I...
Yes, you do want to start a fight. We've told you plenty of times, leave us alone, do not attack us. You didn't listen, and now you're shocked that we're responding.
like these guys, right? I don't like this philosophy, but I would want a lot of MGTOW guys to realize how they can actually improve themselves.
We already improve ourselves. Here's an example of myself. My Brave referral programs are working far better, and I'm actually going to get the success I want with the referral programs, and then I can use it for MGTOW purposes, unlike you. And putting money to MGTOW use is far better than to use a pussy.
No drama, or you're also getting out of the chat. Anyways, like I was saying, putting money to MGTOW use and doing your own thing is, like I said back then, is far better than paying for other people's courses. And you also don't need him or his courses to be a man. The fact that he keeps saying that proves that he's simply a piece of work. So I was right then to criticize him, though I would have done it far better because I don't believe in insulting people anymore to do it.
Being angry and brooding. and hating the world does.
Nobody said in the MGTOW community that, oh, it will help you if you are in Red Pill Rage. That's just a process. Not every MGTOW experiences it.
Not fucking help you. Understand Red Pill Rage.
I was right. Red Pill Rage is basically a process that exists in some MGTOWs upon realizing how the MGTOW philosophy works and how women act versus how you were told women acted, which is obviously different because they have every incentive to basically tell you that women act a certain way in order to get you to simp for them. And when you learn that that's not the case, some people have what's called Red Pill Rage. But it is a process and does not mean that every MGTOW suddenly hates women or that MGTOW itself is about hating women, which saying that MGTOW is about hating women would be dumb and a misnomer. I think someone is awake. Let's see.
All this stuff, but it does not fucking help you.
Like I've said, like I have told you before, nobody said anything about how Red Pill Rage helps you.
With that said,
yes, you always have to zoom in your face. Quite frankly, you look really not good looking.
alright, now that I've got all fired up.
I could have just said ugly if I wanted to really ruin him, or could have not commented on his appearance at all, because I don't believe in commenting on people's appearances. It's not related to the argument at hand, which is that he is wrong and that his takes on MGTOW are also wrong. Simple.
Linux comment. I think he's got some good points
Yes, only because he agrees with you and your specific agenda.
here. Obviously, I'm gonna think so because he's supporting me, but yeah,
Yes, we already know.
here's the thing.
How many times do we have to put this stupid
I
animation?
discovered MGTOW in 2016.
Could have commented less on the animation, to be honest, because it's not really relevant to the point I was making. But yeah, it was annoying, so that's why I did it.
One night while having insomnia. Entertaining and interesting to see. I wasn't the only one out there who rejected
You should have continued marriage, to be honest.
marriage, and a great deal of what they said was true. Maybe 101, Sandman, Howard.
I agree. When I said that you should have continued rejecting marriage, I mean exactly that. Continue rejecting marriage. There is no point in not rejecting marriage. Get out of here. If I have to do this again, I'll be annoyed. Hello. Yes, I will make more people wrenches if it's necessary, because I don't want... I have basically a very little, if not a zero tolerance policy towards women in these spaces, because these spaces are simply about men. I don't care if Beth has this or that thing to say when this space is about men. It's men going their own way. And I also don't want more drama.
Dare, etc. Okay, so he came from a pretty balanced place, right? And he went and watched their content, right?
Yes, and so do I. But here's the thing. I stayed MGTOW because they were good. You obviously didn't find something you liked in MGTOW, and probably because it did not suit your agenda.
I followed these guys for about 2 years. That's a pretty long time. And yes, they are becoming like male feminine.
2 years. I have been MGTOW since early 27, since late 2017.
I have heard of it, but my early MGTOW videos was some Minecraft thing in like early 2018, and I remember watching Angry MGTOW, Sandman, and MGTOW 101. Those were like the three main content creators I derived inspiration from. So Sandman was the greatest MGTOW content creator, and Angry MGTOW at the time before he attacked MGTOW was also great, and MGTOW 101, he was good while he was still here. But from my memory, he went on to do his own thing and also shill coca tea or something like that, so he's no longer here. Much of MGTOW, as I remember it in 2017 to 2019, is no longer the case in 2026 regarding the community, but the philosophy itself is still solid. That it's still solid for all of the 5 reasons I listed in my video. Yeah, it was revealed with Red Pill Coin that he had his own takes and that he was a scammer, and he also attacked MGTOW as like through some alt. But at the time I watched him, he was still great.
In early 2017.
The second you say all quote fill in the blank, you are wrong unless you're talking about maybe the Nazi.
Actually, we are right, because most women, and we basically say all so that we don't have to put in lots of exceptions because it's much easier to say. But generally, most women are bullshit.
I would say that there's nothing much really great about the modern woman in terms of marriage and or relationships, but the reason we didn't really believe in all women are this or that evil thing or bad, like Bulldog Mindset was saying we did, we only just commented that most had this tendency and that the laws can still affect you. Most of the issue with when it comes to marriage and relationships is the system itself, because it is not the fact that this or that woman is good or bad. It is that the system allows any woman who dislikes you to screw you over. That's part of the reason why the Avalt and Avalt argument doesn't matter. Very simple. So there. So that was my take now on what I said back then. I'm advancing, but I should wrap it up soon because right now it's almost going to be 4 a.m.
All right. There are women out there who are not bad.
Yes. Yes. Why should we spend all of our time and money trying to find out that one cool unicorn? Here's the thing. Jordan Peterson had a daughter. That daughter ended up divorcing the male and becoming the same single mother and the same single woman. Bullshit that Jordan Peterson doesn't like. So even with strict parenting, the traditional doesn't work when it comes to the female.
Okay, could have phrased it better, but the overall point that I was trying to explain here was still right. Tradconism and tradition doesn't work. If not even Jordan Peterson could turn his daughter into a supposed unicorn that can do no wrong, then you don't really have much chances with anyone else. And Jordan Peterson is the guy who, by the way, called MGTOWs weasels and then had to apologize for it. But he was also, in my opinion, a tradcon who called MGTOW weasels in order to advocate for tradition and for marriage, which is stupid. It's basically advocating for diving headfirst into a pool full of crocodiles. No sane person would do that, but if you acknowledge it, then you had untold number of shaming tactics used against you. So there.
There are good marriages. Not everyone.
Yes, but we're not talking about whether they're good or bad, but we're talking about that they can change their stance anytime, and that's dangerous.
To get them hell, not every woman is.
That's correct. You can have due diligence. You can decide who is good and who isn't. And if you're wrong, you get screwed over. That basically places a ton of risk on you, on the part of the man for very little benefit. And with this take, yeah, you could make the argument, but I don't think it's worth the risk unless you're moving into the country where the laws are slightly more favorable.
No.
But they have the power, and that's the main problem. It's not if, but it's not that they don't want to or they want to, it's that they can. They all have the power. Sure, most of them are bad, but all of them have the power.
Okay.
I wouldn't exactly say that most of them are very bad or something like that, like I said back then, but the fact that all of them have the power is the actual point, because if all of them have the power, it takes one mistake to screw you over. One simple mistake. So even if many of them are like good and are not like that, making the wrong choice is bad for you, and part of being MGTOW is not making this wrong choice. It's about making other choices, about making the choice to go your own way, to avoid losing your resources.
Statement that he's made here.
No, it's not.
Right? I know I'm going to get a lot of comments from MGTOW guys saying that this isn't true, but this is the problem that I have.
Actually, MGTOWs who claim that are, because this statement really isn't true.
You can't just say that all women are bad.
Yes, but they all have the power to be bad.
That's the point. That's the thing that I think was intentional with Bulldog Mindset, but is unintentional with everyone else, is that there's an understanding of what point is MGTOW making. People take what we say and spin it to mean all women are bad. That's not the point being made. It's the point that women have the power to screw you over via the government. So, basically, it's not saying that if given a gun, all of them will kill you. It's basically, they have the gun and you have to trust that they won't use it against you. That is not something we're willing to do. We're not willing to trust them on that. That's also why many in MGTOW call marriage and or long-term relationships Russian roulette, because that's exactly what it is. You basically have to trust that the gun isn't loaded, when in many cases it could be. For all I care, it could be loaded most of the time, if not all of the time, but it really doesn't matter if it's loaded or not, if there is a possibility of it being loaded, because you still get screwed over. So it's not a take of women are bad, it's more of a take of women have the power to do this thing, and it's not good that they have this power over us, and we should solve this problem by not being with them, or not doing the things that get us screwed over.
How stupid are you to assume the behavior of a woman? Plenty of women have been attacking men, but here's the kicker. All of them have the power. They can change their stance anytime.
Or all women are thoughts, or all men who...
And yes, I was right. Behavior-wise, women could be different. Some could be good, some could be bad, but you're essentially playing Russian roulette with your life and your life savings at being put at risk, and it's not really worth it. So that is the point being made here.
Don't support your view are cocks and simps. It doesn't...
Actually, that's true, because there hasn't been a fair anti-MGTOW stance, because all of the arguments have been, oh, but the woman is good, but you are this and that, you are gay or something like that. These arguments by anti-MGTOWs are honestly some of the worst arguments I've ever seen against a group of people. Against a
doesn't work that way.
That is true. The arguments used against MGTOW are basically shaming tactics and our arguments based on misrepresentation of arguments we make. And on the point of shaming tactic of calling MGTOW gay, we understood in 2019 and before that this argument was meant to be used to shame men into the plantation. So obviously we didn't like it when the word gay was being used as an insult, because it was used by these same people to attack MGTOW. Now you have people using gay as an insult even within our spaces. So obviously that's a problem. When I made my community post calling it out, because I understand history and I understand why it's bad, people didn't like it. But I don't care what they have to say. I don't care if they call me gay or say ha gay in response to me. They have the right to say that. But I have the right to point out that using gay as an insult comes from the very same shaming tactic used to attack MGTOW. And if you understand history, you understand how people used to attack MGTOW and what's still going on, you will understand why it's bad. Or at least be wary of it. I understand the situation MGTOW was in 2019 versus today, and I understand what kinds of arguments even feminists were using against us. So because of my understanding of the situation back then, I understand that such shaming tactics are still bad and call out everyone using them, regardless of the fact if they're on the side of MGTOW or against MGTOW. Because such thing needs to be called out equally.
This is not the reality. You can say that there's a significant portion, which he even says here now.
Yes, but significant portion means 60%. It's 90%.
I wouldn't say 90%, but 90% and 60% are basically an irrelevant distinction if even like 1% can attack you, because you have to do extreme due diligence for something that doesn't even have that much reward. MGTOW is a simple cost-benefit analysis that determines that being single is better than being married or anything else. Understanding this cost-benefit analysis and viewing MGTOW as such is what helps you understand whether MGTOW is good or bad, and understanding the key points of the MGTOW philosophy. The problem is that many make misunderstandings based on not understanding what MGTOW is meant to do and how it helps men. That's why we have these ridiculous anti-MGTOWs using ridiculous shaming tactics to malign MGTOW for no good reason.
Yes, most of all.
Yes, want to waste all of our time and energy hunting for the one true unicorn. And that argument is also extreme, and that argument of a unicorn at Walt is also on thin ice.
The MGTOW movement has become the
My disagreement with what I said with the argument of Nawalt is on thin ice is not because if it was on thin ice or not, but because it's irrelevant. This argument is irrelevant and needs its own video to explain why the Nawalt argument is stupid.
The MGTOW movement. Coming from a former MGTOW, they should already know the difference between what MGTOW is and what others say MGTOW is. He has only been watching and hasn't even been a true MGTOW, because a true MGTOW knows that MGTOW is not a movement. It's a philosophy or way of life.
Here by true MGTOW, I mean someone who adheres to the MGTOW philosophy, but yeah, if you claim that you were a MGTOW and then left, then surely you would understand that MGTOW is not a movement. But if you call MGTOW a movement, that takes away credibility from your argument that you were a former MGTOW, because even someone who was MGTOW and then left MGTOW for whatever reason understands that MGTOW is not a philosophy, that they stopped adhering to the lifestyle philosophy of MGTOW. But if you claim it's a movement, then you probably were never here to begin with, because the only way you would believe it's a movement is if you simply watch the mainstream media opinion on MGTOW and or Wikipedia and or everything else that says it's a movement, which are, by the way, all non-MGTOW sources. Because the idea of MGTOW is not a movement is not something we MGTOWs believe in. Simple.
Radical feminists. And
No, they haven't. Because radical feminism has the power, has lobbying power, controls the education system while MGTOWs don't. All we advocate is for total avoidance of most women because it's risky and you can get accused of multiple bad things.
I agree with this, right? This is not all, but there is definitely a level of ridiculousness just in society at large that is generally informed by the feminist agenda that has caused a lot of women today to become
Feminist agenda. Yes, women always had female nature. Feminism just outlined it perfectly.
I will call it.
And yes, I would tend to explain this take. The idea is that feminism didn't do much other than put out in the open what already existed but was hidden. And if that is the case, and many in the MGTOW philosophy would believe it's the case, then we have to thank, then I would be willing to thank them for revealing female nature, because many, including tradcons, would hide female nature or the way women act, if we consider female nature to be that, and would essentially pretend that what is happening is not the case. Now, to explain what I believe is female nature, the concept, the reason you learn it, is to understand the following. Women are people, and because they are people, they're not these magical unicorns that can do no wrong, sugar and spice and everything nice, but they are people who care about their own self-interests, and will care about their own self-interest over your own interests. You do not learn female nature, or the fact that they care about their own self-interest in order to date them or manipulate female psychology or whatever. You do it to understand why it's not a good idea to risk your life in a relationship with them, risk your life savings and everything. You do it so you learn that the social expectations expected of you and what's been ingrained in you from society about women is false. Women are people, and because they're people, they care about their self-interest and are not morally good or morally evil or inherently anything that is essentialist. They care about their own self-interest, but in many cases, including most cases, that self-interest does not align with your own interest. So, understanding that makes you better suited at being MGTOW, because you understand that they're not this perfect sugar spice and everything nice, and you understand why not risking things with them and why being single is better. Very simple understanding of a female nature.
Tolerable, okay? It's definitely rare.
Same thing I and other MGTOWs can call you, intolerable, because you really are.
Find women out there.
He's not exactly as intolerable as I thought it would be, but he's really dumb and uneducated. That's what I would have to say about Bulldog Mindset.
Are good, but I would also say, I was just discussing with a actually on.
Can you move to the next paragraph already? You're wasting my time.
Okay, we're going to give my past self the benefit of the doubt and move the paragraph forward, because now we can actually skip ahead instead of having to listen to his entire take and my own take on that take.
Salesman that has no idea about anything. Also, hello, snake oil salesman known as Bullshit Mindset. You don't know anything about anything.
I mean, the fact that he called MGTOW a movement, Bulldog Mindset, and even that guy proves that what I said back then was right, that Bulldog Mindset really did not know anything about anything.
Let's move on. If someone's spending all their free time watching MGTOW videos,
that's actually not true. While I spend most, I also do some of my projects. I have my own independent projects that serve the MGTOW community and my own plans with the Brave affiliates program.
Oh yeah, that's probably just more shilling for Brave, but yeah, I was right that not every single MGTOW spends all of their time watching MGTOW videos.
That person has a psyche problem.
No, they don't. Actually, you and the commenter have it.
Okay. Again, and apparently some of you are, as you see the same comments over and over on all the channels.
Because all of them agree on the same point. That's why you see them.
Yeah, to explain to that, while there are different takes in MGTOW, many of the MGTOW channels did indeed have similar videos, if only because we had similar opinions. We all recognize that, for example, looks maxing was incredibly stupid because you're changing yourself for the benefit of others and not your own self-interest or health. And for example, we recognize that marriage is bad. So when all MGTOW channels say that marriage is bad, it's simply recognizing this core fundamental belief within MGTOW that marriage is bad because of the way no-fault divorce currently works. So it's not really a problem if many MGTOW channels happen to agree on something, as they're saying.
And this is my main contention point, guys. You know, again, I'm not saying every single MGTOW person out there has a viewpoint, but if you're watching this fucking video and you're gonna leave a fucking nasty comment, that's you.
No, that's you. The nasty comments of MGTOWs are nasty to you because it's actually true.
That is right. When I said that to Bulldog Mindset, I was right because the way I see it, he was attacking MGTOW and we were just retaliating. Simple. Okay, this take. No-fault divorce is basically divorce without any fault, meaning that you're free to leave regardless of if the other party did something wrong. At least that is my opinion on it. But the way it works right now is that in doing so, women are incentivized to break the contract of marriage, and in doing so claim alimony and child support. This screws us and our interests over, because we men shouldn't have to pay this alimony, and we should be able to leave with 100% of the assets we came in. Not liking no-fault divorce as a result is an acceptable opinion within MGTOW, and even the normal opinion, because why would anyone like having the resources taken away from them?
You're the idiot.
No, you are. You don't.
Actually, I wouldn't need to do this finger pointing of calling Bulldog Mindset an idiot back then, because it was self-evident. Like the difference right now and my content back then. Back in the day, I used to do roasts and insults. Now I don't do that because I don't believe they're necessary or even good. I believe in winning based on ideas. The state and divorce court grants them alimony and child support upon leaving in most cases, and is biased in favor of granting them that because they believe that women need the alimony when they actually don't. And also there's an inherent bias in giving custody of children to mothers instead of 50-50 custody. Simple. Not liking that as a MGTOW and being against no-fault divorce in the way it currently works is thus completely rational.
Don't know anything about anything, little soy boy, and allow me to educate you on what actually is happening. All the MGTOW comments are true because they actually reflect actual reality, and they agree. Also, if it's negative to you because it's negative to your it's negative because your stupid girlfriend or whatever doesn't allow you to do anything and stops. Basically, all females are treating you and controlling you. They're basically basically controlling you and doing whatever and you are a stupid soy boy. There's nothing.
Actually, because I'm going to cut the stream soon, as I've already covered a lot, I would like to elaborate on the fact I've already said that I wouldn't do the insults. But though, what I want to mention is that women don't exactly control you, but being a simp does not really change much if they control you directly or not, because you're still simping for them, and that simping, whether you're simping for them, clouds your judgment. Because it clouds your judgment, you're basically acting in their favor and thus attacking MGTOW as a result. You cannot judge MGTOW fairly or describe it in an accurate context, because to do so it would displease them. But as a simp, you don't want to displease them because you're simp and addicted to puniti. So because you're addicted, then you basically do whatever they want. So when I was calling that out, I was being right in calling that out, because simping clouds your judgment. Simping is bad because it clouds your judgment and because you're idolizing many of the things that could be considered outright mediocre at best and bad at worst. So there. I would like to say that, to cut the stream soon, that my content creation has improved. Now, instead of having the entire desktop or browser viewed, and instead of having insults hurled at others, I have arguments. I have arguments and ideas, and I believe I can win based on those. Because I believe I can win based on arguments, I don't use insults. This is evident with one of my videos I did in response to Nyara VT and her take on the manosphere. I didn't use a single insult, just arguments. Same with the Brandon Trueblood debate that I did. Neither side used insults. I also didn't use insults or anything. I used simple arguments, because arguments and ideas are how you win, not indiscriminate insulting and attacking. So that, and consistent quality in terms of actually editing stuff, and also adding pictures related to the topic instead of recording the entire Windows desktop, is how I've improved my content creation, and also because I have different and I think better and more informed views now than I have back then. As you can see with my takes on MGTOW and generally women and everything, you can see that instead of outright attacking women for being women or calling most of them or 90% of them bad, I recognize what the argument was about, which is that you're basically handing them a gun and hoping that you aren't going to be shot at with that gun, which is a better argument to make. And I also recognize the value of pragmatism and working with others to achieve shared goals. So that is why I'm pragmatic with non-MGTOWs, because I believe we can achieve more working together. Yes, there is. I was reacting to Bulldog Mindset. I'm glad that even someone like you, Manlatopia, who usually has viewpoints I disagree with, can recognize that Bulldog Mindset is not good. But as I was saying, my content is better, my viewpoints are also better, and I use arguments instead of insults. That's the difference between what I was doing then and what I was doing now. So, to cut it short, for 2026 and 2027, I hope to do many more videos, more content, and also more live streams, because in doing so, I help grow the MGTOW philosophy, I help add on to it and help explain how it works, and also use my arguments-based approach to demonstrate to others in MGTOW and outside of MGTOW why our viewpoint is right. So to end this off, since it's also February soon, which I consider to be MGTOW Awareness Month, and because MGTOW International Day is in February, I would like to say goodbye to everyone. Thanks for being on the stream, and thanks for listening to me discussing my past videos. And also, I hope to see all of you more often on my streams, even if you disagree with me, because then we can have discussions. Oh wait, I didn't know that you were still here. So, more content is to be expected, and I will attempt to refine further the content that I've made, and I've already been improving. And I also hope to add more tech-related content moving forward, because there's a lot of stuff on that front that I also want to do. With that being said, this has been Igor MGTOW on Video Games. Like and subscribe and click the bell notifications on YouTube, and follow me on all the other alternative platforms: MGTOW.tv, Odyssey.com, Rumble, Twitter, and soon to be Blue Sky, because I also believe in going there. And also join my Discord server if you want, as long as you follow the rules, that is. And bye-bye.